However, when you receive a message, I was doing a training somewhere, I was telling them that, you see, there are so many phishing attacks. Somebody, you don't have any relative outside the shores of Ghana, even outside the shores of Accra. If I are in the village, the farthest any of them have come is Accra. But then you get a WhatsApp message that is telling you that you have a package from this courier service and click on these things and you've won. You see, and you are eager to follow the prompt and the instructions to do what it is. Think twice about it before you act. So in the cybersecurity, we see think twice before you click.
That was IT governance and cybersecurity expert Eric Odai. Now, elsewhere on the continent, some Nigerians have expressed outrage after the country's national anthem was changed with little consultation. President Bola Tinubu on Wednesday signed into law the bill to revert to Nigeria's old national anthem, which was dropped by a military government in 1978. The newly readopted anthem, which begins Nigeria We Hail Thee, was written by Lillian John Williams in 1959 and composed by Frances Berda. Speaking on his first anniversary in office, President Tinubu said the anthem symbolizes Nigeria's diversity, but many have questioned his priorities amid the cost of living crisis. Reacting online, some Nigerians said the country had more pressing problems such as insecurity, rising inflation, and a foreign exchange crisis. But Tahir Mongunu, chairman of the parliamentary committee which passed the bill, dismissed the widespread criticism, saying it was apt, timely, and important, and that it would undoubtedly inspire a zeal for patriotism and cooperation. He also added that it will promote cultural heritage and the changing of the national anthem would chart a new path to greater unity. That is all the news we have for this bulletin here on Z News in the Morning. But before we go, let's take a recap of the major stories. Electoral Commission begins processes for persons seeking to transfer their votes to new constituencies. And we heard from the Electoral Commission boss Jane Mensah. African Electoral Institute faults smaller political parties for their lack of participation in the just-ended limited voter registration exercise. And Deputy Finance Minister and NP for Nshieso touts achievement of the governing MPP, saying the party represents the best option for Ghanaians going into the 2024 general elections. Remember to follow our social media platforms on ZFM on Instagram, Facebook, and X, and on our website www.zmultimedia.com. I am Saka Abdullahi. Thanks for listening.
Your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Media Fam has emerged, introducing Zed Multimedia. With a steadfast focus on lifestyle, leisure, and business, we set out to bring high-value oriented programs that captivate the taste and desires of our audience. From the captivating airwaves of Z 101.9 FM to the dynamic visuals of Z TV and the innovative realms of Z Digital and the incubation of advanced technological knowledge at Z Tech, every facet of modern media is meticulously curated to engage and inspire. Also, let's not forget the Newfinder newspaper, now under the Z Multimedia umbrella, delivering insightful journalism with a business focus. Join us on the journey where innovation meets inspiration, where lifestyle meets leisure, and where business thrives. Change is here. Z Multimedia, your lifestyle, leisure, and business platform. In the heart of Accra, nestled in the vibrant neighborhood of East Legon and New Beacon, a 360 multimedia firm has emerged, introducing Z Multimedia. With a steadfast focus on lifestyle, leisure, and business, we set out to bring high-value oriented programs that captivate the taste and desires of our audience. From the captivating airwaves of Z 101.9 FM to the dynamic visuals of Z TV and the innovative realms of Z Digital lifestyle, and the incubation of advanced technological knowledge at Z Tech, every facet of modern media is meticulously curated to engage and inspire. Also, let's not forget the new Finder newspaper, now under the Z Multimedia umbrella, delivering insightful journalism with a business focus. Join us on the journey where innovation meets inspiration, where lifestyle meets leisure, and where business thrives. Change is here. Z Multimedia, your lifestyle, leisure, and business platform.
It's Thanks Day. As if you need reminding. Your favorite show is on. This is a show where we deal with the major issues that need critical analysis. If it affects your lifestyle, we will talk about it. If it impacts your leisure, we will discuss it. If it touches your business, we will deliberate on it. Still the show full of relevant information, in-depth analysis of and practical solutions to pertinent issues of both personal and national importance. A morning show with frank discussions that gets to the heart of the matter. And in between all of this, some good music. Music to put you in the best of moods on your way to work every single work week, Mondays to Fridays. Yes, we're informing. Yes, we're educating. True, we're entertaining. This is Z101.9 FM. This is the House of Zion. This is number 6 Anyete Street, East Legon, Accra, Ghana. This is Zed in the Morning. This is your Captain Jerry Home. In the first hour of the show, the news headlines and review. Today, as always, on Thursdays, Elvis Daco is coming on. We're reviewing them. We'll give you the headlines, review a couple of them, all through to 6:50. At 6:50, Niakwe, the sportscaster, comes your way with Z Sports, taking us to 7 a.m., where we take on the business news. That ushers us into our second hour of the show, where we take on the top trending story of the day. Come to it with angles others might have missed. Taking us to 7:55. Business Briefs. Here's a mini MBA on wheels. Business Briefs takes us to 8 a.m. 8 a.m. is what we call Zed Talk. We pick on a big story and have a big conversation around it. That takes us to 8:55. At 8:55 is customer service and experience moments right here on Zed in the Morning with Jerry Home. That takes us to 9 a.m. The final hour. Today's a Thursday. What are Thursdays? Arts, culture, and tourism Thursdays. So this is a game plan for today. Aquaba 1, Aquaba all. People, strap on your seat belts. The show is finally hitting the road.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
because they're just a day away from, thank God, it's finally Friday. Anyway, good morning, Mr. Daku.
Good morning.
What's happening in the news? First of all, I saw a message this morning. What was that message you sent this morning to everybody? What's your message?
We're just apologizing this morning to all our cherished readers of the New Finder that the paper is not out this morning due to some technical challenges. We stayed here, worked all day, and time to print the paper, and the technical challenge popped up. Did all we can throughout the night, but unable to resolve, and therefore the paper is not out this morning. So we are just apologizing to all our cherished readers, and we say that we are sorry for any inconvenience caused. We hope to fix the problem this morning and print the paper for tomorrow. So that is the message from the New Finder this morning.
Oh, okay. All right. So you've apologized. All right. So what are the other papers saying?
So this morning, all the papers are out this morning. Many papers are out this morning. And when you look at it, you will see so many papers. And we start with major papers. And I would like to start with the Statesman newspaper.
Okay.
The Daily Statesman. It says, Information Minister visits Daily Statesman. We are committed to STEM education. Akufo-Addo touts progress in sector. TUC welcome Baumia's private sector vision, and fuel tanker drivers Lord NPA for leading the discussion on their condition of service. That is the Daily Statesman.
Okay, let me take the Daily Satellite. Sinking Ghana City. Mahama campaign team admits they do not have a solution. British Council Ghana celebrates 80 years of impactful cultural relations. And fuel tanker drivers Lord MPA for leading discussions on condition of service. MPA boss honored for exemplary leadership at CEO Summit. And Godfrey Dami has become a minister for injustice and must give way to a minister for justice. That's coming from Bernard Mona. And a big story on the front page of the Daily Searchlight is NPP and DC in desperate misbehavior over Atuforson's fate. That's the front page of the Daily Searchlight.
I have the Daily Graphic. The government votes 700 million for book research allowances 6/2020. I will review Labour Act to protect workers. Baumia speaking to TUC. More cancer treatment centers needed nationwide. That is the call from an oncologist. Ghana card as sole identification. Political parties give easy green light to lay new bill before Parliament. That is the Daily Graphic.
Okay, and the new crusading guide, adhere to health and safety protocols upon Nkrumah 2 contractors. And then there is TUC Lords Baumia's vision to transform Ghana with ideas, systems, and institutions. That's a big story on the front page of the new crusading guide. And there is Foreign Ministry debunks a Blackwest Oslo Chancery allegations. Government NEIP initiative transforms entrepreneurship landscape in Ghana. Then there is Baumia is poised for victory in December elections. Krowo MPP chairman, KGL group chairman, honored at CEO Summit as overall CEO of the year. Intensere Busumfor secures judgment against Ekruponhene. Those are the stories on the front page of the new crusading guide.
I have the Supreme newspaper. Baumia's campaign message positive, important for Ghana. That is TUC. Private sector financing needed to drive development agenda. That is from the finance minister. And government's NEP initiative transforms entrepreneurship landscape in Ghana. That is the Supreme newspaper.
Okay, I have the Daily Dispatch here, and the stories. The first one up there is Baumia's campaign message positive for development. TUC. 4 tanker drivers praise NPA for helping end strike action. Conduct 2024 polls peacefully to maintain your reputation. That is ECOWAS to Ghanaians. And the last story here is avoid eating soupy foods in groups from one bowl to prevent spread of hepatitis B. And that's from an expert. That's the front page of the Daily Dispatch.
I have the Daily Guide. Live telecast for anti-gay bill cases. That is the word coming from the Chief Justice. 3 caged over alleged sextortion. The big story says Baumia's message, good, TUC, and NEP initiative transforms entrepreneurship. That is President Akufo-Addo speaking. Daily guide for you.
Okay, the anchor here, the big story is Nooks pleads for stranded students abroad. That's a big story on the front page of the anchor. Other stories on the front page here is a Blackwa threatens fellow or that year with demo. KGL group boss emerges overall private sector CEO. New Takrady 60-bed capacity polyclinic commission. Facility to reduce pressure on the Fianquanta Hospital. Others. Angela List named female CEO of the year in mining. Those are the front page stories of the anchor.
The Chronicle. Akufo-Addo's government wants to imprison Atufosin for unjust reasons. That is General Mosquito speaking. The big story says Mahama's name pops up in AG Dami tape saga. Kojo Oponkrumah directs contractors to observe safety protocols. These are the stories on the front page of the Chronicle.
I take the business analyst. I want to partner with the media to take MTN to the next level. Stephen Blewitt tells GJA. That is coming from the business analyst. Another story is election 2024. Bawumia promises flat tax system. And then tourism sector story also here on the front page of the business analyst. International arrivals hit 1.15 million in 2023. But a big story on the business analyst. BOG monetary policy report. Ghana's external position remains strong. And then the last story here is inflation expected to fall to 21% in May 2024. That is the report, front page of the business analyst.
The Daily Post. The longer Dami stays as AG, the more he drags the office through the mud. That is Martin Kpebu speaking. The big story says Godfrey Dami is Minister of Injustice. He must go. That is coming from Bernard Mona's Arise Ghana.
Okay, and then we have the Metro Lens. Some female professors recruiting varsity students into lesbianism. That's a story on page 8 of the Metro Lens. It is possible. TUC Lords Baumia's positive message for Ghana. NEIP transforms entrepreneurship in Ghana. That's a page 4 story. And then the last page, the last story on the front page of the Metro Lens is KGL's Alex Dade Ajaj, Private Sector CEO of the Year at 8th Ghana CEO Excellence Award.
As the National Enquirer, the story says construction chamber queries government. Tell us who received 49 billion. The Minister of Finance had said so far government had paid 49 billion to contractors in the country. And the construction chamber says, well, they don't know who received the money, so they want to know who actually received their money. Mahama promises to scrap e-levy, appointees fuel allowance, utility bills, DSTV subscription, others. That is John Mahama speaking. Then Joba Amota debunks claim Mahama didn't pledge to stabilize struggling city in 100 days. These are some of the stories on the front page of the National Enquirer.
The Meridian. It is possible. TUC Lords Baumia's positive message for Ghana. That's the big story here. And KGL Group's Alex Dade Ajaj, Private Sector CEO of the Year. And then 4 tanker drivers, Lord MPA, for leading discussions on condition of service. Aborikidan royal family challenges legitimacy of Kwesi Alaji. That's the front page of the Meridian.
The Ghanaian Times. NEP creates 103,871 jobs. That is from 2017 to 2023. This is coming from President Akufo-Addo. First batch of pilgrims have left Tamale. So the pilgrimage has started and the first batch are already gone. 184 on death row in Ghana. That is from Amnesty International. So if you go to our prisons, we have 184 people on death row. The president will not sign any of those for the people to be executed, so they remain in our prisons. These are some of the stories on the front page of the Ghanaian Times.
The Daybreak newspaper, the big story is cost inflation rocks Buankra Port Project. Buankra Port Project, and then tanker drivers Lord NPA. Nick Dansoe J attracts accolades. That's another story. KGL boss is private sector CEO of the year. Then Akufo-Addo reiterates commitment to STEM education. Those are the papers that I have with me.
And then showbiz, the argument is very hot as to who should become the GMA Artist of the Year. Who should become Artist of the Year? It's become a big debate currently in Ghana. And it is between King Promise and Stone Boy. The entertainment industry is really divided between King Promise and Stone Boy as to who should win the Artist of the Year. And there is a Nigerian actor, Michael Uchengu, is advising Ghanaians that we shouldn't compete with Nigerians. We should rather learn from Nollywood. The advice to Ghana is that don't compete with Nollywood. Rather, you should learn from Nollywood if we want the movie industry in Ghana to also progress as is happening in Nigeria. So these are the two stories from the Showbiz newspaper, Graphic Showbiz, and it's all about what is happening in the entertainment industry.
All right. Okay. So let me go online, pick a number of them, then we review some. AsasiRadio.com, NDPC boss. Vision 2057 would help reduce youth unemployment. That's coming from AsasiRadio.com. Let's go to MyJoyOnline.com. Akufo-Addo orders Labour Minister to address SNIT hotels controversy with organized labor. That's coming from MyJoyOnline.com. And then let's go to CityNewsroom.com. The big story is the same as the one on the MyJoy Online page. Is Akufo-Addo directs Labour Minister to engage organized labor on SNIT hotels sale. Then let's go international. BBC. The big story is actually a live story being covered now by BBC. Hong Kong court convicts 14 democracy activists in biggest security case. 47 Hong Kong activists, I beg your pardon, in the city's largest national security case. And then there is what is Hong Kong's tough new security law. After strict instructions, Trump jury begins deliberation. So that's another big story coming from the United States, where anything could happen in a case in the hush money trial of the former president Donald J. Trump. The last story I'll pick from the front page of the homepage, I beg your pardon, the BBC's Samuel Alito call to skip Trump cases after flags row. So those are the stories coming to you from print and then online, Mr. Dako.
And the big story on the continent of Africa from the international front is the elections in South Africa.
So many elections
the
are
elections
happening.
In
so many
South Africa.
big elections are happening this year.
But today the counting is underway. Voting ended yesterday. Deep in the night, people were still in the queue voting, and the counting is underway in South Africa as we speak from the elections. And when you follow what is happening in South Africa, you will really be interested in their elections, because clearly a lot of young people are complaining that for 30 years of the ANC's rule, they believe that they have not seen much transformation and they are not seeing the future direction of their country. And for which reason they think that for the first time, I've heard several South Africans on various international networks saying that they will not vote for the ANC. So the ANC faces its biggest test. Its biggest test in an election in South Africa is this election. And there are so many political parties contesting in the elections in South Africa as we speak. And
over
it's
70.
been suggested
70.
that the ANC may not get the majority to form a government.
Yeah.
And we are all looking at what will happen in South Africa to see how the nation actually moves from this year, because clearly if the message from the young people is that they do not believe that the current government led by Cyril Ramaphosa is steering the country in the right direction, then the vote will tell. And that will definitely send a serious message to all politicians in South Africa for them to know that for the young people, especially those that are unemployed, and you should know that South Africa faces one of the highest unemployment situations on the continent as we speak. And it's a major issue, especially for the young people. For the young people, the issue of employment is huge. So I think that for anybody who is interested in South Africa, the whole of today, you have to follow what is happening in terms of
it is not
the elections.
For anybody. We should all be. Because if a solid SA is a plus for the continent, don't forget there are a lot of multinational companies that go to SA just because of so many other things. So if SA is destabilized or things don't go wrong, it would affect the whole Africa. So I think it's something that we should all be interested in. Two things that come to mind. First of all, the big parties that have eaten up from the they've gotten away from the ANC and they are causing trouble. Your good friend, the
Julius Malema.
Julius Malema's party, those in red from head to toe.
In fact, polls posted by Al Jazeera is showing that the ANC is likely to get 42.57% of the votes. And the DA is really going to make about 26%.
Democratic Alliance.
Yeah, and the EFF is around 8.15%.
That is impressive.
And the MKP is also around 7.65%. Charlie, if this poll should really be what it should be in today's count, then really, probably there's the elections, in fact, the results will be an interesting one to read.
It will be.
Really, really will be an interesting one to read. And as you said, South Africa is a powerhouse on the continent.
Of course.
Economically, politically, in fact, in Southern Africa, in fact, they are what we say our abroad, or when you say you are traveling abroad in Southern Africa, it means you are moving to South Africa.
Exactly.
From the Zimbabwe, all those countries in the South, they move to South Africa just as the way we always try to move to Europe. So it's a real major player on the continent, and especially in the southern part of Africa. If you look at SADC, South Africa is really, really a powerful force in SADC, and therefore, whatever that is happening there, especially for southern African countries, they will be watching closely to determine what really the final results will be.
The party you mentioned last, MKP. It's a party to watch for.
Yes, and it's a new party,
because your man is the one who formed it.
Yes,
Jacob Zuma. When they barred him from standing, then he went to form the Umkhonto we Sizwe. Umkhonto we Sizwe is one of the slogans of the ANC at the time, the spear of the nation. So now this man who has been with ANC from day one comes out of the ANC, starts his own party called MKP, Umkhonto we Sizwe Party, and now this is the trouble. So he knows all the azar of the ANC.
and these are some of the key contenders in the election. Cyril Ramaphosa is representing the ANC. He is 71 years old. The John Steenhuisen is 48 years old, and is representing the Democratic Alliance.
Yeah.
Jacob Zuma is 82 and is representing the MK Party. Julius Malema is 43 and is the founder of the EFF Party,
Economic Freedom Party.
So these are like the four main people contesting in the elections, and more than 72 million voters are registered in the country of 62 million people. Can you imagine? Less than
you know what is most likely to happen? There must be some coalition.
Of course.
If the ANC doesn't get its majority,
in fact,
it might go looking for either.
The prediction is that there has to be a coalition at the end of the election, because they see ANC not making beyond the 45 to 46%, and therefore they can't form a government. And this is really.
But you see, Mr. Dakun, one thing that excites me is it brings to mind a video I watched when I was in Joburg of Julius Malema, who told one of the DA people straight in the face that one day I'll be president. And you will call me Mr. President. Because if we're going into coalition now and EFF or MKP becomes power, Charlie, these guys will start pulling weight. And then before you realize, anything can happen. Exciting times down south, South Africa. Let's come home.
Yes. So from South Africa, we are coming back home to look at the papers that we've reviewed. What are some of the real issues we think we have to talk about. For me, I think Baumia's meeting with TUC is one of the key issues because you see, when governments are elected, they need to work with the people. And one of the most powerful groups in this country is the TUC.
Okay.
And therefore, if you intend to become president of Ghana, obviously it's important that you have some kind of discussions with these groups so that you know what their expectations are. And you also share your promises with them and get to know what they think about what you are promising. And I think that the meeting yesterday is important because even at that meeting, the TUC presented what is also calling its own manifesto for the elections, what it expects that the political parties will do. And I remember we started that discussion here.
Yeah.
They presented a copy to Dr. Bawumia that yes, you may have your policies, you may have your promises, but this is what the workers of Ghana also expect, that anybody will become the president of Ghana from January 7, 2025. This is what the workers of Ghana are expecting. And I think that it's important that this kind of inputs are given to all the presidential candidates so that they will know that Ghanaian workers are no longer going to sit down and say, we are going to vote without actually making input into what the political message should be. And I think it's important that this kind of conversations happen. And I think that all the political parties who are in the country who want to contest need to meet such important groups, have this kind of open discussions, share their ideas with them, get the people to give them feedback as to what they make of the ideas, and what suggestions those people also think they have that will make the country better for all of us. We are going to vote, and for me, it's the single most important decision we make in every 4 years, because we are handing over the entire country to a group of people and say, handle and manage this country for the next 4 years. And all the resources of this country, all decisions in this country will be made by those group of people that win the elections. And therefore, before we even vote for them, it's important we tell them what we expect of them at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Before we even vote for them to become president.
That's
then
important.
I look at the president also speaking and talking about issues like STEM, how his government is trying to put STEM ahead of so many things. And I think that, see, we are doing STEM, which is very, very good. We need to do more of STEM, more of STEM, more of STEM. But I'm saying that in addition to STEM, if we are digitizing the country and we say everything is moving in this world into the realm of digitization, then in addition to STEM, we must also pay more attention to the issues of digitization, because clearly there is nothing you can do on earth today without digitization, without technology. And therefore, if we are driving home the idea of STEM, which is important, we should know that the STEM of today and tomorrow will work differently from the STEM of yesterday. The STEM of yesterday was working without the current system of AI, digitization, and all that.
As a matter of fact, Mr. Dako, if it's moved, we no more even in STEM. They've added something else to it.
You understand?
Now they call it STEM 8, but that's for another discussion. It's 10 minutes to 7 a.m. Who is here? It's Niamkwe, the sportscaster, with Zed Sports coming up right now.
Here's Mensah, this is positive. Williams, Kudus, the Korean joy did not last for long.
Oh my gosh, Kudus, the piranha from Guyana.
All right, so it's exactly 50 minutes past the hour of 6 in Accra, Ghana, wherever you may be tuned in from. This is Zed Sports with Niamkwe, the sportscaster. All right, the Black Stars dominating the headlines yesterday. If you tuned in at 5:15, my colleague Gatuso Race to the Part 7 gave us an update on the Black Stars squad that was released by Coach Otoado yesterday at the GFA headquarters. Of course, Zed Sports was there live and colored, and we have some fresh updates this morning for you. On the international front, Barcelona has appointed Hansi Flick as the new head coach, whilst Bayern Munich confirmed Vincent Kompany as the man to spearhead their tactical direction from this day and beyond. Right, we jet off with the Black Stars. Coach Otto Addo has provided insight into the omission of Captain Andre Didiayew from the Black Stars squad ahead of the crucial 2026 World Cup qualifiers. Despite the 34-year-old's commendable performances for Le Havre in the French Ligue 1, he will not be part of the team for the upcoming matches against Mali and the Central African Republic. Let's take a listen to Coach Otto Addo.
So I had a long talk with Andre, personal. I reasons why he's not in the squad at the moment, and I usually held it like this, that I don't talk too much about the players who are not in the squad, more about those who are in the squad. And for me, I can say I don't like to I talk to players directly. I don't like to give information out about what we spoke about. So he's not part of the squad at the moment. Andre is, I mean, as everyone knows, a legend. He's a living legend of Ghana. What he has reached, it's unbelievable what he did for the country. It was a difficult decision, to be honest, because I like him. I like him as a person, also as a player. But this is the decision we took.
All right, Coach Otto Addo explaining the omission of Andre Ayew from the squad. And still on the Black Stars, he has assured Ghanaians of good football ahead of the team's World Cup qualification matches against Mali and the Central African Republic. Addo, who returned to take over the team following the departure of Chris Hughton, aims to qualify Ghana for the 2026 World Cup, having previously led them to the 2022 edition in Qatar. Here's Coach Otto Addo.
Ghana football stands for good football. And this is, maybe I want to use the opportunity. It's difficult to promise victories, because of football you can be better than your opponent, and at the end they will score and they will win, or one slight mistake will happen. But I think I will take the opportunity to be brave enough to promise you that we will play good football. Because I've been studying football for a very, very long time, and for me, the boys, especially in Ghana, they like to play with the ball. This is how they grow up when they're playing on the streets, and this is what I want to implement. And I think this is the easiest thing to implement, because they will have joy having the ball, trying to dominate. I know that we will face opponents sometimes which are stronger than us, where we need to defend more. But in general, I want to bring back to the joy with the ball.
That was Coach Otto Addo speaking about the brand of football he intends to play with the Ghana national team, the Black Stars. And also worthy of note, Baba Rahman refused the call-up. He was very adamant he didn't want to play for the Black Stars, having been booed off the Kumasi pitch last time out. And still, 9 Black Star players have been confirmed injured ahead of the World Cup qualifiers next month. Baba Idris, who has undergone a surgery on a sports hernia, whilst Iñaki Williams has also undergone a foot surgery to remove a foreign body. Majid Ashimeru is still recuperating from a left calf tear. Joseph Paintil has picked up a hamstring injury, whilst Nathaniel Eje has also been ruled out with an ankle injury. Dennis Odoi also misses the doubleheader through a knee injury. Daniel Amati has also picked up an ankle injury. Coach Otto Addo also confirmed that Daniel Kofitre and Joseph Edu have long-term injuries. And now to the international front, and starting off with appointments all over. Bayern Munich, former Bayern Munich boss Hansi Flick says it's an honor to be appointed Barcelona new boss on a 2-year contract. Flick, who was sacked by Germany in September 2023, takes over from Xavi Hernandez, who was sacked last week. His stint with Germany came after he guided Bayern Munich to a treble in 2020, winning the Bundesliga, the German Cup, and the Champions League.
I would like to say thank you to everyone who's included. Yes, it's a big honor and also a dream for me to sign my contract here in Barcelona, to work for this club, for this amazing club. And I'm happy to start. yeah, first of all, the club is really unbelievable. I can't, the hours I'm here in Barcelona, it's amazing because everyone here in the club loves this club and try to give his best that they have success. And of all, this is the philosophy they have. It's similar like mine, so ball possession and really attacking football. These are the things I love, and I will work about that. Barcelona has one of the best academy in the world, and they have a good mix between experienced player and also the young talent player.
That was Hansi Flick speaking to the media on his new appointment as Barcelona boss. Still on appointments, Vincent Kompany is excited to be part of a wonderful future for Bayern Munich. The Belgian succeeds Thomas Tuchel and leaves Burnley for the Bundesliga side after the two clubs agreed a compensation fee, which is believed to be around £10.2 million.
First of all, it's a privilege, it's an honor, and but I'm excited. So my feeling, my energy is really positive, and yeah, I'm looking forward to work with the players, with the staff, and hopefully give everything that the fans love to see about the club. I think if you stand for something, you always have to stand for something that's close to who you are as a person. I grew up in the streets of Brussels, and so we love the ball, we're creative. I like players who are brave on the ball, but also I was always a very aggressive player. So I like the team to be aggressive. I like the team to be also brave in being aggressive, and that's what suits my personality.
All right, so Vincent Kompany, boss of Bayern Munich at the moment, speaking to the press. Now we shift focus to the world of tennis. Roland Garros, currently ongoing the French Open, and defending champion for the women's division, Iga Swiatek saved the match point before beating Naomi Osaka to avoid the earliest French Open exit of her career in a second-round thriller in Paris. The 22-year-old, who is bidding for a third successive title, fought back to win 7-6, 1-6, 7-5. Here's Iga Swiatek after the game.
And I want to say one thing. I'm sorry to even bring that. I have huge respect for you guys, and I know that we are playing basically for you because this is entertainment, and we're also earning money because of you. But sometimes, you know, under a lot of pressure, when you scream something during the rally or right before the return, it's really, really hard to be focused. I usually don't bring this up because I want to be... this kind of player that is really in the zone and really focused. So yeah, but we're guys, you know, this is serious for us. We're, you know, fighting our whole lives to be better and better. And sometimes it's just hard to accept that because we're playing for, the stakes are big and there's a lot of money here to win. So, you know, losing a few points may change a lot. So please, guys, if you can support us between the rallies, but not during, that'll be really, really amazing.
All right, so that particular matchup was always built to go the whole 9 yards. Three-setter it was, and Naomi Osaka says she sees her game as being good against anybody in the world, and she was raised to have no fear, having suffered defeat to Swiatek yesterday. She also spoke to the media.
Yeah, I thought it was a really fun match, probably the most fun match that I've played so far, and it just felt really incredible, the atmosphere and how fun I guess everyone in the crowd was having too. So yeah, it was definitely very memorable for me. Honestly, it's not the worst. Like, I felt worse for sure. I cried when I got off the court, but then you know, for me, I kind of realized, like, I was watching Iga like win this tournament last year, and I was pregnant, and it was just my dream to like be able to play her. So when I kind of think of it like that, I think I'm doing pretty well, and I'm also just trying not to be too hard on myself. I feel like I played her on her better surface. I'm a hard court kid, so I would love to play her on my surface and see what happens.
All right, so that was Naomi Osaka speaking to the media after the game. Some big games coming up in the French Open. Roland Garros, of course, Kemanovic coming up against Daniel Medvedev later today at 9 a.m. And, of course, Francis Tiafoe also coming up against Canadian Shapovalov Daniel. So, ladies and gentlemen, that will bring us to the end of today's installment of Zed Sports. My name is Niakwe, the sportscaster. Saka is in the house. Coming up next, of course, the business segment. And you know the message is a Thursday edition. But keep it real always, because no matter what happens, you do not have to count the days. You need to make the days count.
Here's Mensah, this is positive. Williams, Kudus, the Korean joy did not last for long.
Oh my gosh, Kudus, the piranha from Guyana.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Hello and welcome to the business news segment here on Zed in the Morning. Coming up, ECOWAS Brown Card Scheme marks 42nd anniversary with enforcement exercise. Ghanaian financial markets exhibiting mixed performance midweek. EcoBank Group and American Express sign agreement to expand American Express acceptance in Africa. And on the international front, one of the world's biggest botnets taking down the United States of America says. Let's begin. The National Insurance Commission, in collaboration with the ECOWAS Brown Card Scheme and the Police Motor Traffic and Transport Directorate, MTTD, have lauded the insuring public for complying with Section 125 of the Road Traffic Act 683 of 2004 on the occasion of the 42nd anniversary of the ECOWAS Brown Card Insurance System. The three agencies yesterday embarked on a brief enforcement exercise on vehicles, especially transit vehicles from the ECOWAS sub-region. The ECOWAS Brown Card Scheme is anchored on the key ECOWAS objective of economic integration and the free movement of persons, goods and services across the sub-region. Its main objective is to ensure prompt and fair compensation to victims of motor accidents caused by non-resident motorists traveling to and from other ECOWAS member states, resulting in deaths, injuries and property damage. Most transit drivers produced their brown card certificates during the exercise. Director in charge of Education, Research and Training at the MTTD, Chief Superintendent of Police, Mr. Alexander Kwekuoben, spoke to Z News after the exercise.
All road users, and in particular drivers, passengers or vehicle occupants, vehicle owners, among others. And also we zeroed in on those who are carrying transit permits or circulating permits, moving transit vehicles and vehicles in circulation on our roads in this republic, and in particular at Isabenkwa on the N1. And I believe we also a high compliance of Section 125 of the Road Traffic Act 683 of 2004, which has a heading compliance with compulsory insurance, and also in particular the ECOWAS Brown Card insurance component. So far as transit vehicles were concerned, I think that we've all endured, we've all engaged, we've interacted. What is left with us is that we must share with the millions of residents in West Africa and in Ghana of the need to also come on board to support the state in ensuring the smooth implementation of the motor insurance policy in this country, and by extension ensure that we allow free flow of traffic across our border, protected, and residents in Ghana also assured that such vehicles as are delivered on our road across our borders also have existing, valid and appropriate insurance that is also issued to such road users by the ECOWAS Brown Card Office. We think that it is a policy that we need to sustain, and so far as the Act 683 is concerned, Motor Traffic and Transport Department and all our personnel will continue to play this onerous role imposed on us by the Road Traffic Act of 2004, particularly Section 125, so far as compulsory compliance of motor insurance is concerned, and in particular the ECOWAS Brown Card facility that allows all residents in West Africa to own vehicle and deploy it across borders to support the socio-economic development of our sub-region.
You heard Chief Superintendent of Police, Mr. Alexander Kweku Obeng. Now, onto the markets. The Ghanaian financial markets displayed a mixed performance on the third trading day of the week, reflecting diverse investor sentiment and currency market fluctuations. The Ghana Stock Exchange experienced a slight uptick. The cedi weakened further against the US dollar, continuing its downward trend and highlighting ongoing pressures on the local currency. Conversely, the cedi strengthened against the euro and pound sterling, showing resilience and gaining value against these currencies. For more detail, we turn to Tessa Capital.
Welcome to a recap of the markets, brought to you by Tessa Capital Limited. The Ghanaian stock market experienced a slight increase during the third trading day of the week. The GSE Composite Index rose by 0.01% to end the day at 3,752.23 points, a marginal uptick of 0.51 points. The Financial Stock Index remained stable at 2,049.94 points for the sixth consecutive trading session. Market capitalization also rose by 0.01% to 89.97 billion by the close of the session. Total saw its share price increase for the second day in a row, rising by 5 pesos to reach 9 cedis 66 pesos per share. Market activity surged, with total volume traded increasing significantly by 1,341.53% to 1,606,085 shares. The total traded volume amounted to 2,919,005 cedis and 84 pesos. MTN Ghana was the most actively traded stock, accounting for 99.52% of the total traded volume. In the Forex market session, the Ghanaian cedi weakened against the US dollar by 0.23%, but strengthened against the British pound and the euro by 0.32% and 0.37% respectively. Based on the mid-rates provided by the Bank of Ghana, the cedi closed at 14 cedis 4 pesos per US dollar, 17 cedis 85 pesos per British pound, and 15 cedis and 18 pesos per euro. This brings our review to an end, and from all of us at Tessa Capital, make it a great day. Visit us online at tessacapital.com or call us on 050-154-6859 for more information. Tessa Capital, grow your wealth.
We thank Tessa Capital for those market updates. Now, in banking, American Express and Ecobank Group, the leading Pan-African financial services group, has announced an agreement to significantly expand American Express card acceptance in 21 countries across Africa. Through the agreement, American Express card members will be able to use their cards in 12 new countries, including Burundi, Central African Republic, Gabon, Guinea-Bissau, Liberia, Malawi, Mali, Niger, Sao Tome and Principe, and Sierra Leone. Additionally, the number of merchants accepting American Express card payments will increase in 9 further countries where American Express acceptance already exists. The agreement, which was announced at the African Development Bank Group Annual Meetings 2024, will strengthen the American Express global network by increasing the number of locations where American Express card members can use their cards in sub-Saharan Africa. The agreement will also enable merchants to attract businesses from a new customer base of American Express consumer, business, and corporate card members in Africa and around the world. Internationally, law enforcement agencies from around the world have shut down a global malware network which stole $5.9 billion and is linked to other crimes, the U.S. Department of Justice has said. The DOJ partnered with the FBI and other international agencies to take down what was likely the world's largest botnet ever. Chinese national Yong Hee Wang, who is also a St. Kitts and Nevis citizen, has been charged with creating and operating the network. A botnet is a network of computers which have been infected with malware and are being controlled by a malicious actor. Mr. Wang is charged with conspiracy to commit computer fraud, substantive computer fraud, conspiracy to commit wire fraud, and conspiracy to commit money laundering. If convicted on all counts, he faces a maximum of 65 years in prison. That is all we have for business today. But before I go, let me take a recap of the top stories. ECOWAS brown card scheme marks 42nd anniversary with enforcement exercise. Ghanaian financial markets exhibiting mixed performance midweek, and EcoBank Group and American Express sign agreement to expand American Express acceptance in Africa. I am Saka Abdullah. Jerry Ham continues with the show.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
Today on Top Story, we're talking sports. Nia Kwede, the sportscaster, is the other side of the studio. Normally he'll be on this side. Today is our guest for Top Story. And what's for Top Story today? Coach Otuado's list is out. Is it a solid list? Is it a good squad? Can they win their matches? These are the questions that will be put into Nia Kwede, the sportscaster. It's going to be an interesting chat about the Black Stars on Top Story today. It's Zed in the Morning, Thursday edition. Yeah, but before we go into Top Story, you know the way we do it. Let's pick some very important information for you. Ever imagine a place that is in sync with your lifestyle? A place where there's a pride of ownership. It's so obvious. And a community that is so well planned, a community that is so well laid out, that if you own the property in that space, you would always have a pride of ownership. this is what your number one leading private real estate company of the year, Lakeside Estates, is giving to you. It is a golden opportunity for you to become a homeowner at Lakeside Hills. Yes, a place that is so well planned. You can walk the tree-lined streets with a charming established feel that oversees the landscape view of Abri Mountains. That is the place you want to be. Lakeside Hills, a place so safe and secure. You get a sense of calm and ease, fostering a family-friendly neighborhood. And Lakeside Hills offers you various house types for you and your family that will meet your budget. They have 2 bedrooms detached standard, 2 bedrooms detached deluxe, 3 bedrooms detached, 3 bedrooms detached with boys quarters, and 4 bedroom story executive. To book a viewing and sales assistance, you call these numbers: 0204 775 040, 0204 775 040, or 0501 418 622, 0501 418 622, or 020 477 5042, 020 477 5042. These are the numbers you want to call and book to go view the houses that are at Lakeside Hills. You can also visit www.lakesideestate.com, or you can go to their social media platforms. The handle is at Lakeside_estate for more details. Life is beautiful at Lakeside Hills. Lakeside Hills, where you can live your best life. This is brought to you by Lakeside Estate, your 3 times winner of the CIMG Real Estate Company and the Greater Overall Real Estate Company of the year 2023. Today's world, money is difficult to come by, and this is why it is even more important that you buy trusted and time-tested brands, because that's what the majority endorses. When you're making a purchase, go for what can be trusted. Don't spend your money on brands that cannot be trusted. When it comes to water storage tanks in Ghana, the name we all know is Polytank. It has been with us for over 30 years and has been trusted by generations and generations. As a matter of fact, Polytank is a tank that you can actually leave in your will for your children and your children's children, because it lasts that long. It's the first, it's the best, and it's certainly the original. So whenever you're thinking of storing water, make no mistakes. Go for guaranteed quality. Choose Polytank. Polytank near Papa Nunye. That's Polytank. Yes, and buddy, they leave us with a caution. Polytank does not request Momo payment online. Once again, let me repeat that. If you're purchasing a Polytank and someone says you should send Momo, know that that's fraudulent, because Polytank does not request for Momo payment online. You know, you can always get the very best of music, the very best of lifestyle, leisure, business, all the very best is right here on Zed 101.9 FM, which is why every single morning, Mondays to Fridays, that is, you want to keep your dial here at 5 a.m. Why? Because there is morning blessings. We start you off right in the presence of God. Morning blessings with Pastor Joshua NST is Mondays to Fridays, 5 a.m. right here on Zed 101.9 FM. Then right after that, 5:30 is Living Word with Dr. Mensah Otabil. 5:30 daily. That is from Mondays to Fridays right here on Zed 101.9 FM. Living Word ends at 5:55, and at 5:55 comes My Good Self with Zed in the Morning. With the gang, we go all through to 10 o'clock. At 10 o'clock is NYA the Brand. She comes with the brighter side. NYA the Brand, Mondays to Fridays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. It's a good mix. You don't want to miss NYA the Brand. She makes your late breakfast and your lunch and your brunch and whatever it is much more satisfying. Join NYA the Brand Mondays to Fridays, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. right here with the brighter side on Zed 101.9 FM. Also, every Tuesday we have a show called I Have a Story to Tell. I Have a Story to Tell is hosted by Honorable Fritz Buffo every Tuesday, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. I Have a Story to Tell. Then also 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. each and every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday through the work week. We have Highway 1019 with Oforiwa. It's Monday to Friday, 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. right here on Z 101.9 FM. Join Oforiwa and Ngozi as they take you back home with a smile on your face after a hard day's work. Also, your weekends are sorted out. Why? Because every Saturday morning we start you right exactly at 8 a.m. It's time with Prof. Stephen Ade, and the theme is Abundant Living. It's a show that would put some abundance in your life as the man gives you nuggets of wisdom to send your life to the next level. Then on Sundays, the man with a golden beard. The man with a beard, DDM, David Dakwamensa, comes your way with Zed Gospel Groove. Zed Gospel Groove with DDM every Sunday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Amazing guy, yes. Also, what you say? It comes your way. Z101.9 FM every Sunday, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. Then right after Zed Gospel Groove on Sundays comes the man they call the legend, the king of country, the one and only Tommy Annan Forsen with Country Express, Sundays 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Wednesdays 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Yes, if it is nice, we do it twice. So Tommy comes twice in every week. It's Sundays and Wednesdays with Country Express, giving you the very best in country music right here on Z101.9 FM. Yeah, Chasamwa takes on from here, Sisai Subai.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Yeah, that's you remember that one? Yes, I'm that old, don't worry. That was Charles Samoa. Okay, so after all the noise, after all the hula baloo on the streets of Accra, what list is coming up? Who is being dropped? Who is being put in the final list? Finally, Otuado brought out his list, and the conversations have gone into hyper. A 26-man squad to face Mali and CAR, that's the Central African Republic, in crucial 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifying matches in the coming month. And to help us dissect this 26-man list and all the stories going on around and all that, we have our man, our in-house sports expert. He is here with us, Niakwe, the sportscaster. Anyami, good morning again.
Good morning, Jerry.
The list is out.
Yep, the list is out.
So for those of you in this fraternity, this sports fraternity, what is the excitement or what is the feeling like anytime the coach is about to come up with a list? What does it feel like for you people, those of you in the sports fraternity?
Well, obviously, Jerry, there was a lot of anticipation and the build up to this list, because obviously you look at Ghana's position on the qualifying log, and
who are we?
We are fourth. We are currently fourth.
How many teams are in the
6 teams in the group. Only one will qualify. So we are currently fourth. So it was
after 2 matches.
After 2 matches so far, yeah. So it was a very precarious position for us. And then we felt that in the previous matches we didn't have our best players available. So everybody was looking forward to this particular squad, because the next 2 matches are obviously the decisive matches.
Must wins.
They are must wins. We are going away to Bamako. Mali is probably the strongest opponent in the group. And then, of course, we went to Comoros and we lost 1-0 to in Moroni. So it was a squad that everybody wanted to know about. There's a new coach on board. What are his tactics? What system is he going to deploy? We know the spine of the Black Stars hasn't been in good shape for some time. We haven't had the full complement of the likes of Thomas Partey, who has been injured for an extended period, Daniel Kofitre and the rest. So everybody was looking forward to seeing what Coach Otuado was going to piece together. And then, obviously, there were some omissions. We had a hint.
Okay, so
we had a hint there were going to be some omissions. We will get into that shortly. But you look at the 26-man squad, and it's very strong. It's very strong.
Your goalkeepers.
So for our goalkeepers, we have Lawrence Atizigi, who plays in St. Gallen in Switzerland. He's been the top goalkeeper there last season. He was the goalkeeper of the season there. We have Jojo Wollacott, who missed the World Cup due to a finger injury, but he's back on form. He plays with Hibernian FC in Scotland. And then we have Frederick Asari, who incidentally is the only local based player to be called up. He plays for Kumasi Asante Kotoko. So,
okay, of these three, who is doing well in their respective clubs? Who is the first on the list every time for their respective clubs? I don't want bench goalkeepers. Of these three,
so of these three, obviously Lawrence Atizigi, like I mentioned, for St. Gallen.
St. Gallen's number one goalkeeper.
He's number one. Okay. Jojo Wollacott also number one for his team, and then in Hibernian in Scotland, and then Frederick Asari, who's been outstanding for Kotoko this season.
So then, of these three, if they are all number ones in their respective clubs, what goes into the coach choosing which one for these Mali and CAR matches?
Obviously, that should boil down to the system of play that he wants to implement. If you want a ball-playing goalkeeper, you have a choice. If you want a shot stopper, you have a choice. But for a ball-playing goalkeeper, football has modernized, it's evolved, and every team likes to play out from the back. So you want a goalkeeper who's good with his both feet. He's good with saves as well. And then we look at that, and I think based on these yardsticks, we're going to go with Lawrence Atizigi as our number one. Jojo Wollacott has played for the Black Stars before. He's an excellent shot stopper. And Frederick Asari, I don't know if he has the mental fortitude for big occasions like this, because a goalkeeper's error can cost the team.
Of course.
So it's a crucial department that people overlook. But I look at the selection of Otuado, and these are the three best. We don't have an outstanding world-class goalkeeper. Let me be fair in all respects.
I thought Ghana has a goalkeeper in West Ham. There's a Ghanaian goalkeeper. He's a reserve goalkeeper or something.
I mean, yes. We have over 11 goalkeepers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, all across Europe. So when it comes to picking a goalkeeper for your senior national team, this is not the Meteors, it's not the Satellites, it's not the Starlets, it's not the local based. So you have to go for your very best. And Atizigi looks like he's our best. You know, we don't have a standout goalkeeper like we had Olele Kingston, head and shoulders above everybody. We had Samir J some time back. We've had great goalkeepers in the past. But you look now, and the scene is probably very, very even. I think Atizigi tips it for me because of his ball playing abilities.
Yeah.
Yes, but Frederick Asari deserves to be there. We don't know what will happen. We don't know who might be reserved. But you need a certain quality to go into these kind of games. It's a World Cup qualifier.
In Mali.
In Bamako, is going to be wild. They are physical. They are rugged. They are tough. It's a very difficult place to go. I don't think many teams have gone to Bamako and won against the Malian
our
national
best
team.
would be a draw.
We have to win. We have to find a way to win. We have to. It doesn't matter if it's 1-0. It doesn't matter if we don't play pretty. The coach has said that he wants to play good football. But ultimately, I know at the back of everything, results is what counts for the most.
Defenders have said that sometimes you want to look behind you and look at a goalkeeper who gives you confidence.
Yeah.
How important is this thinking?
It's crucial. It's crucial. Let me digress a little bit. If you remember the Champions League final between Real Madrid and Liverpool, the man of the match for me, Courtois. Vinicius scored the winning goal. However, I can tell you that it was Courtois who won the game for Real Madrid. Goalkeepers win you championships. Goalkeepers win you trophies. So it is crucial that at the end of everything, if you've been beaten on all fronts, your midfield has been bypassed, your defenders beaten, there must be a shot stopper.
A giant like Courtois.
Who you rely on. The David De Gea's, the Courtois, the Van der Sars of the past. There were people that made important match deciding saves.
Gianluigi Buffon.
We've seen world-class goalkeepers.
Why are you not mentioning Onana?
Andrew Onana at the moment he's conceded over 50 goals for Manchester United, so I won't particularly use him as an example right now because that defense, like the roof at Old Trafford, is leaking.
I beg, let's not go there before Man U fans start calling us. Yes, so that's the goalkeepers. What about your defenders?
For defenders, of course, the professor is injured. Dennis Odo is injured. I'll come to the list of injured players later on. But Gideon Mensah from Auxerre in France is in the squad. Ebenezer Annan from Novi Pazar in Serbia is also joining the squad. Mohamed Salisu, we all know his quality from his days at Southampton and still at Monaco. He is in the squad. Jerome Poku is playing in Turkey in Basak Sehir. And we have Abdul Momin from Rayo Vallecano. Alexander Jiku, the Rock of Gibraltar, our current Rock of Gibraltar, who plays in Fenerbahce in Turkey. Alidu Seidu from Stade Rennes. Tariq Lamptey from Brighton and Hove Albion make the defending contingent. So we had Baba Rahman out. He said categorically that he did not want to play, and sources even tell me that he has vowed not to wear the Ghana jersey again. He had a fantastic season in Greece with PAOK.
Yeah, I think he won their league.
They won their league. He was fantastic. Scored quite a number of goals for someone who plays as a fullback. His offensive play this season has been tremendous. I think he's in probably the best form of his life. And now
he refused to join the Black Stars
because of how the media, the fans have treated him in times past. Usually the team goes bad and everybody is quick to point a finger. Oh, Baba Rahman, you are the fault. And I think it's a collective failure of all of us.
Wow. That we are missing our very best when it comes to what? Is it a left back?
At this moment, I think he's a left back. Gideon Mensah has proved himself solid in that position. He makes the squad. But we have the absence of Baba Rahman, who I think at this moment could be very, very vital to our offensive play.
But Niakwe, let me find out from you. Footballers, are they supposed to be listening to us? Because we would insult them anyway. Why should what I said or what I go and post on Facebook worry Baba Rahman?
I think they know that there's criticism, but then there's constructive and there's destructive criticism. Sometimes when you criticize overly without any cause, you give the player a certain dip in confidence. Yes, so I think it's affected him negatively. I was at the Bavaria Stadium when he last played in Kumasi, and the boos and the GS every time he got on the ball when he was walking out of the game. It was, I mean, no matter how tough you are going to feel that. And that wasn't the first time. On social media especially, he's been ravaged across all platforms when things go bad for Ghana. So I think
we messed up our own player.
And it wasn't once, it was continuous. It was continuous. So I think he's had it, and he's decided that I don't want to play for the national team. I'll just concentrate on club football and I'll do well for myself. And that's exactly what's happening.
If you want to join this conversation, 0544-321019, or you can even call in 0303-956641. Join us. The Black Stars list is out. What are your thoughts on this? And then you can also follow us on our social media platform, on X, on Facebook, on Instagram. It's at ZFMGH. On TikTok and YouTube, it's at Zed Multimedia. The website is zedmultimedia.com. We're discussing for top story today, the Black Stars list is out. And you just heard from Nian Kwei, the sportscaster. I think this is also what the coach had said. We messed Baba Rahman up. Now we're missing out on one of our very best defenders. Shame on all of us. Anyway, back to the list. Who else missed out and for what reason?
Well, Dennis Odoi missed out.
Okay.
He was one of the expected defenders for the list. Actually, we had 7 players missing due to injury, and they are all going to miss this doubleheader. Dennis Odoi missed out because he is injured and is recuperating. We have Baba Idrisu also. A lot of Ghanaians are very sad that he's missing out at the moment. And then Majid Ashimeru. And that's a big blow to the Black Stars because he's our most progressive ball player. He carries the ball forward. He makes the attack tick. In the absence of Thomas Partey, we saw what he did. But Partey is back, so maybe Ashimeru's absence won't be felt too much. We have Iñaki Williams, obviously, he's undergone surgery. Joseph Painsil also with a problem at the moment. Nathaniel Ejay, Dennis Odoi, and then Daniel Amate. So these are the players who are out through injury. In the defending department, as you were asking, Dennis Odoi.
Okay, so midfielders. Now let's go into our midfield.
So midfielders, of course, the star boy.
Mohamed Kudus
on the list.
My goodness.
Mohamed Kudus just won a goal of the season for the UEFA Europa League with West Ham United.
That goal against what, Besiktas?
It was against Freiburg.
The one he took the ball from the back end.
Yeah, fantastic goal by all standards. I mean,
like a Maradona kind of a thing.
He went through the spine of that team, took everybody apart, and like the commentator said, it was a thing of wonder. A very, very fantastic goal. If it was Lionel Messi who scored this goal,
by this time the reels would be all over the world.
Would have. But I mean, Mohamed Kudus is on a very upward trajectory, and I think we haven't seen the best of him yet. 14 goal contributions in his first season in England, and he said that there's more to come. He's now studied the terrain and knows what is to come. So I mean, he was half fit when he last played for Ghana at the AFCON. 2 goals in that game. Wow. Given the chance, he wasn't fully fit. He was recovering from an injury. West Ham didn't even want him to come to the tournament, but he came and showed the quality that makes him Ghana's current star boy. So he's in the team, and that means that there's hope for that individual moment of brilliance if we are to need it in these 2 games. Mohamed Kudus.
Would Kudus still be in West Ham by next season?
It's very, very unlikely because Liverpool are looking to trigger his £85 million release clause.
His release clause is 85 million.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's how important West Ham see him.
Of course. They are looking to replace him. They are looking to replace Mohamed Salah with Mohamed Kudus. I think that's the information reaching us in the background. but it looks like a very positive sign for Mohamed Kudus because it's not just Liverpool. There are other clubs who are also involved, and I think his management and his team are going to take their time to analyze the best option and where he's going to thrive the most. So Mohamed Kudus is in the team for the Black Stars, and as Nyama will be the other number 10 in that role. We have 2 players for that position. Enes Nyama will be in the team. We have Salis Abdul Samed from RC Lan, and we have Ibrahim Sulemana from Cagliari, Edmond Ado from Radniki in Serbia, Thomas Partey from Arsenal, who's making a return to the Black Stars. He will obviously be the metronome, the live wire in the heart of midfield who will dictate play, and of course the opposition knows this, so he will be a marked man. He will need a very solid compatriot. We have Elisha Owusu from Auxerre in France, Abu Francis from Cercle Bruges in Belgium. That makes the midfielders list.
The midfield, it's been said that Ghana produces more midfielders than any other department of the game. So our strength is always in the midfield. What kind of formation are you expecting Coach Otuado to play, and who would be those midfielders that he's going to use?
Most likely, from the pattern of play of Coach Otuado, it's going to be a 4-2-3-1. I think it's going to be we have two solid players in every position. For the one top striker, we are looking at Antoine Semenyo, we are looking at Osman Bukari, and then Thomas Asante, who's also making his debut with the Black Stars. A lot of Ghanaians haven't seen much of him, but if you've been following European football keenly, you'll know that this man is certainly coming in with some big pace and quality.
The two that are going to be in front of the defense, because he said 4-2-3-1.
Yes.
Who will be the two from this your midfield list?
So we're going to have, with the two midfielders, usually have an attacking midfielder and a sweeper, somebody who mops up a typical number 6. But now football has even evolved, so even the number 6 has to be a passer of the ball, like I said, your Busquets kind of player. You have to, because that's where the attack starts from. So somebody who makes the attack breathe. So we are looking at Thomas Partey, we are looking at Edmond Ado and Elisha Owusu on one side, and then we are also looking at Salis, Ibrahim Sulemana, and Francis Abu, who will be any of whom will be the destroyer for the team. So one creative player and one player to mop up. So I think Thomas Partey and Salis are most likely to start for Ghana. But the backup is good. Edmond Ado is there. Elisha Owusu is there. They haven't been too impressive for the Black Stars. Ibrahim Suleiman and Francis Abu will be the backups for that position, and it's crucial because that is what holds the defense together with the attack.
Now let's go to the forwards.
So for the forwards, as you well know, the other Ayew brother is still in the list. We have Jordan Ayew making the squad. We have Abdul Isahaku from Leicester City. What a fantastic season he's also had.
They just came to the Premiership.
Yeah, so they've been promoted to the Premiership. We have Osman Bukari from Red Star Belgrade. We have Antoine Semenyo from Bournemouth, also a very good season, scored a fantastic goal against Liverpool. Jordan Ayew from Crystal Palace, Ibrahim Osman from FC Nordsjælland in Denmark. I've been keeping an eye on the Danish league because of him, and he's been fantastic. Kamaldeen Sulemana from Southampton, he hasn't played too much this season, but obviously his quality can never be understated. Lots of pace to burn. And in a difficult away match like this, where we will probably go on a counter-attack in Bamako, you may think that Kamaldeen Sulemana will be a very vital asset for the team. Thomas Asante Brandon, who's at West Bromwich Albion, fantastic season.
Never heard of him before.
Oh, you're going to see him. He's had a great season with West Brom. And then he's a good forward, not a world-class striker as of yet, but obviously showing all the signs and potential of one. So that is the forward lineup for the Black Stars.
So who are the new guys in this team?
So we have, like I mentioned, Brandon Thomas Asante making his debut, and Ibrahim Suleiman also from Cagliari making his debut. So yes.
Interesting list. Who do you think should have been in this list that is not here? Apart from Baba Rama, who said he won't come.
Well, Bernard Tekpete, I think. Bernard Tekpete has been overlooked consistently. Apart from him, I don't think there's any omission. I think looking at the injuries...
So this must be our very best.
At the moment, yes. At the moment, this should be our best. And we are going in full guns blazing. We've had some really patchy games in the last 10 matches. You know, the Black Stars have only won 1. And it doesn't really look good for us.
Nyakwe, as a sports journalist, as a top sports journalist, let me find out, is this Black Stars good enough? Are we not still living on past glory? Hasn't football bypassed us and other teams? We lost to Comoros. In those days, we would have scored like 15-0 kind of thing. We lost to Comoros. Does that not mean that football has advanced and we are in the past and we're living on past glory? Is this team good enough to qualify for the World Cup? Put aside patriotism.
Okay.
Be a sports journalist. Look at the countries around us. How many are going from Africa to the World Cup?
We are going to have as many as 9.
Hey.
Yeah.
So the top 9 countries in this on this continent, genuinely, you believe Ghana is one of them?
Top 9, yes, we may be one of them. We may. If it was top 5, I would have said an outright no. But top 9, we can. When the tables, the teams were drawn, the first thing I said was that the biggest opposition is going to be Mali. But as we found out when we went to Comoros, it's not going to be just Mali. Everybody wants a bite at the World Cup. Every nation wants to be there. But then again, you also have to cast your mind back to Qatar 2022. We were not the best in qualifying. We didn't even beat Nigeria. We qualified technically via an away goal. So the Black Stars, for a long period, I think since 2019, we haven't been the Black Stars. And even back then, you could see that we're gradually coming down on a downward spiral. And
what is the problem?
You asked about the other teams catching up with us. Yes, they have caught up with us. Now, Jerry, let's look at it objectively. In times gone by, in previous eras, you go way back to the 1993-1995 generation when the under-17 and the 20 World Cup started. And look at the Edu Tutu Skelly, Bashiro Gambos, that generation coming all the way down to 2001 when Michael Essien and Sule Montari, Bernard Dombote played for the youth teams. We had a progressive plan. The core of these teams were promoted and they eventually turned out to be the Black Stars. You look at our first World Cup that we went to, let me narrow it down, because this could be a conversation that could be extended, but let me narrow it down. You look back at our first World Cup in 2006. Look at the core of that team. We had Asamoah Gyan, we had Michael Essien and Sule Montari, Stephen Appiah. They were products of 1999 and 2001 youth championships. Under 17, under 20, and we managed to progress them. Then, at the time, Ben Kofi, they had a development plan, a 5-year development plan, and they were able to groom those boys to qualify us for the World Cup. They went there and gave a very decent account of themselves. And that has been the core of the teams that have gotten us to the 2010 World Cup, the 2014 World Cup in Brazil.
Okay.
And then you see Asamoah Gyan has retired. They are fading out gradually. The old guard is out. What we fail to do as a nation is to build on our youth systems. You look at the current Black Star lineup, and the only person there to have even played under 17 is Mohamed Kudus.
Okay. So where are all the rest coming from?
So now, we what we are good at now, and I'm not saying it's this in a detrimental way, we look out there for the likes of Iñaki Williams. He's shining. He's been brought up by another country. Can we go and ask him to play for us? We see this player shining in this country. They haven't gone through the youth systems. And when you look at the football DNA of most of the countries that are progressing, you need to pass through these systems to be able to. You taste defeat at under 17, under 20. You know what it is. You feel the pain of patriotism. When you wear the jersey finally for the national team, you've been there, done that. You've had a few bad times, a few good times. So you are prepared to die for the country. Now we don't have that. The commitment of the players is questionable, if you ask me, because they haven't come through the system. They haven't been groomed psychologically. We are just looking at, Kobe Mainoo is shining for Manchester United.
Let's go and bring him.
Can we take a plane and go and talk to his parents to see whether he will play for us? Whilst we have not invested in their development. So when you have that, and you look at Iñaki Williams playing for Athletic Bilbao, and you look at him playing for the Black Star, the commitment levels are different. So it's not just it's a lot of factors that have come together to cause us to be in this state with our men's football. We went to the World Cup, and that team that went to the World Cup, if they had been kept for even like 2 tournaments before the World Cup, they would have done amazingly well. We're leaking a lot of goals because the familiarity, the concept of fluidity was not there. They didn't gel as a unit. But we've done very well because Otto Addo took us to that World Cup, and he's the same man in charge. So at least there's some sense of continuity for the team.
Let me also, someone said, splendid orientation. So why do we always struggle to win our matches? Jerry, ask me for me. I think you're answering that question.
Yeah.
That we've not been a team for a while.
Yeah.
We've been a collection of good players.
Individual players. They are brilliant individually. But you come together and say, you see, you have to have a system. You have to have a system, a basic philosophy of how you are going to play. We said we are playing the agro kind of football. But, I mean, the identity is not there. We have the material. The identity is not there. You see, coaching a national team, you don't get them for 6 months. You look at their individual styles of play and you try to maximize their characteristics in a particular system. And you look at the Black Stars, and Mohamed Kudus here can pull out a rabbit out of the hat. And Mohamed Kudus can give you that individual moment of brilliance that you want. You can look at Jordan Ayew, you get a penalty and you know he's going to score. But collectively, without Ashimeru, we wouldn't have even been able to do anything at the World Cup. Who's progressing the ball? Do you know each other's? Some of the teams can play blindfolded. And you look at the likes of Senegal, Morocco, and the other African teams, and what they have done. Look at Senegal. It didn't just happen. Look at Morocco. Look at their youth football. Most of the players are the core products of that. So when they get to the national team, they know
each other already.
That familiarity as a unit, we haven't gelled together. It's not there. And that's Otuado's biggest task. When you gel, it doesn't matter when you replace a player. Personnel change won't matter. But now we struggle for an identity. Mohamed Kudus has to drop so deep to sometimes the number 6, number 8 role to be able to take the ball. It's not supposed to be like that. In West Ham, they play a system where he's fed. In Athletic Bilbao, Iñaki Williams plays a system where he's fed. He understands the system. You look at Antoine Semenyo,
Bournemouth
against Liverpool. Look at the kind of game, because they are playing in systems they understand. So it's up to the coach now to patch together something that will make us productive. When Milovan Rajevac took us to the World Cup, we were calling ourselves a one-goal project. It was a very solid team, and you couldn't break them down easily. And that was our major strength. The midfield was strong. Kujua Samoa, Sule Ali, Muntari, they could pass the ball, they could find a Samoajan, and they understood his movement because they played with him from the youth ranks. So we have a very, very limited amount of time, and this is a result-oriented business. We want to get to the World Cup. We have to find a way to patch a system together that will maximize the potential and get us to the World Cup.
Amazing. That's Nyakwe. Deep analysis here on Zed in the Morning on Top Story. Today we're talking Black Stars. Nyakwe, before you go, I know today we caught you off guard. Predictions. What are the matches in the first place?
So we are going to play Mali.
We are going to Bamako first.
And
then come to Accra or Kumasi?
We are playing at the Barbara Sports Stadium. I will be there for Z Sports. Yes, it's being arranged at the moment. So the team will be there for Z Sports. We'll cover that particular match and we'll bring you all the updates live from the Barbara Sports Stadium.
Hopefully, we would have brought a win or a good result from Mali.
We don't have to lose. You see, the margins are so small. Jerry, let me just give you an outlook of the table at the moment. The margins are so small on the log. Now, Comoros is number 1. They have 6 points after playing 2 games. They've won their 2 matches. So they are very determined and they have a very solid team. Their captain said that when they were meeting Ghana in previous years, when they had a Samoajan, they knew they stood no chance. They knew, even in their dressing room, that they were going to be beaten 4-0 and 5-0. And it was happening. But now, they look at this Ghana team and he said that the Ghana team is not strong. People attack Ghana now because they know we are vulnerable.
That's worrying.
Comoros, they have the mentality. They have 6 points. The way they outplayed us on the pitch in Moroni was serious. Mali is second with 4 points. Madagascar,
1 draw.
1 win, 1 draw. And they have a goal difference of +4. Comoros has a goal difference of +5. Now, Madagascar is third, the same points as Ghana. They played 2 matches, they've won 1, lost 1. They have 3 points and a goal difference of +3. The goal difference I'm mentioning is crucial because Ghana has a goal difference of +1. So we don't just have to win comprehensively in Kumasi. We need a lot of goals. I think the game in Bamako is going to be very, very tough. The most important thing is that we don't have to lose because Mali will have to come
and we'll beat them in Baba
at the Baba Yara Stadium if we want to stand a chance. We don't have to lose. We are playing against 5 other teams. That is 30 points. 15 points home, 15 points away. Already we have dropped 3 in Moroni. We have to win all our home games, but this game at Bamako, we cannot lose. It is not negotiable. We must take at least a point. They'll be ragged. They won't allow us to win easily.
Who is Mali's top player?
Well, at the moment...
was that Liverpool guy there? Who is Mali's top player? Yeah, Naby Keita, the former.
No, Naby Keita plays for Guinea.
Guinea.
He plays for Guinea at the moment. But Mali, you see, the thing about the Malians is that they don't have an individual star at the moment. Well, they have a lot of players playing in the French league. And the key to their team success is that they were together at their youth levels, and they play a very familiar system. Most of the French clubs play in a particular manner. So, and they are robust. They are able to apply it on the African terrain.
Taller than us.
So, playing Mali is not about marking anybody out. It's about facing the physicality. The atmosphere in Bamako is going to be very, very hostile. They won't be nice to us because they will need to take the 3 points as well. They know how crucial it is. If we lose in Bamako, we've thrown 6 points out of the possible 15 away points. Where are you going to get them from? We don't have we don't have the luxury of a playoff that you say, oh, I'm second and I'm going to. It cannot be in our calculation.
Neo Creator Sportscast Star right here on Zed in the Morning. This has been an amazing discussion. Thank you so much, my brother, for coming through. Please keep us there posted. I'm sure tomorrow you'll be here with more information. So this has been Top Story right here on Zed in the Morning.
Your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio. It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Yeah, it's a Tough Story got a little extra, so we're coming back right now with Business Briefs. It's exactly 8 a.m.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Money. Yeah, this is Business Briefs right here on Zed in the Morning. What's our lesson for today? So the whole week and the week before, we're looking at marketing and the very important aspects of marketing. Yesterday, we spoke about the need for addressability. You remember that your target audience must be addressable. And we say addressable is a measure of how easy it is to get in touch with the people who might be interested. Before that, the day before, we spoke about point of market entry. Today, what are we looking at? Today, we're looking at desire, the importance of desire in the marketing game. It's almost impossible to make someone want something they don't already desire. Yeah, think about that. It is almost impossible to make someone want something they don't already desire. Right? So if you know your classic marketing, we are told that the steps are one: attention, interest, and then desire before action. You remember the AIDA model, the AIDA model. Yes, so desire is so important that if the person doesn't already desire it, if the person hasn't gotten from attention and interest and desire, it is almost impossible to get one to buy something from you, which is why it's part of the marketer's job to create desire. The essence of effective marketing is discovering what people already want and then presenting your offer in a way that intersects with that pre-existing desire. So first of all, look at what they're looking for. So once again, let's go back to our classic example we've been using this week. You just got news that you're expecting a child, right? So then, as you're driving through town, your mind is already prepped up. Then you see a mother care, attention, right? Then it generates your interest. I need to get some things ready. I need to start buying stuff for the baby that is coming. I need a baby cot. I need whatever it is that babies will use. That interest then moves to the next level, which is desire. The desire must be there, and the effective marketer is someone who is able to discover not only what you want, but is able to present their offering in a way that intersects or interweaves or interlopes with your pre-existing desire. Effective marketing shows the prospect how the offer would help them achieve what they desire, right? So he desires to be prepared before the kid comes, or she desires to be prepared before the kid comes. It means that in marketing, you are not just going to talk about the features of your product or this. No, because this woman or this man is looking for some serenity or looking for some comfort for the yet to be born baby. When you are selling your baby cot, don't sell a baby cot, sell comfort for a baby. You understand? Because the desire they want is comfort for their baby. So don't go sell baby cot and say it's made of this wood. It's made. When you say it's made of this wood, link it to their desire, which is the comfort for their baby. That is what the lesson says. Your job as a marketer isn't to convince people to want what you are offering. Your job as a marketer isn't to convince people to want what you are offering. It is to help your prospect convince themselves that what you are offering will help them get what they really want. Did you get that? Your job is not to just convince them to want what you are offering. Let that sink in. Your job is not to convince them about what you are offering. Your job is to convince them to convince their own selves that what you are offering is going to solve what the challenge they are facing, or is going to give them that desire, right? So that there is what you need to know about desire and marketing. And this has been Business Briefs right here on Zed in the Morning. Coming up is Zed Talk right here.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
Zed 101.9 FM.
It's your lifestyle, leisure, and business radio.
And I'm told you have another engagement today with GEA as well.
Yes, the Ghana Employers Association, yes.
What is happening there? Let's start with that.
Yeah, so they're having a seminar for their members. And basically, it's about labor. So the GEA is one of the organizations that's very frequent with seminars, refresher courses, and a lot more. And they invite experts to train their members on a lot of this. They also have what they call women gender advocates who come in once in a while to train the women members, and including men as well. So DA is one of the organizations to belong to. Jerry.
You mean when you say we belong to who?
So what I mean by that is you are proud to belong to a group like that of the Ghana Employers Association.
Oh, okay. I get that.
Yeah, companies who are in a group like that, and they especially hold importance when it comes to training, when it comes to issues that affect companies generally, both international and local. They have a deal with the Norwegians who support these training sessions. And so almost every other week, there's something that GEA has for its members. Jerry.
Okay, that's interesting because, I'm sitting there and I'm just asking myself that, are this not what GEA is doing? Would it not, as a matter of fact, look like what AGI is doing, what GNCCI is doing? Are there not too many of these things?
Yes. It's almost about the same. But the important thing is to get the best out for their members and to run with the time, to evolve with the times. And so if there's something, for instance, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, they held a seminar on data protection and cybersecurity for their members. And these are very, very key issues that we've been discussing on Zed, if you recall. And so it's important. It really doesn't matter if AGI is doing same. And they have also, these companies are members of AGI. It's like saying that when you have a lot of meat in the soup, it doesn't spoil anything.
Yes. Okay, Mr. Edu, so let's start from Monday. The CEO summit.
Yeah.
I don't know if I may be wrong, so please, I stand for correction. But is it just my thinking that the speeches by the two main political, opponents for this year's election took away from the very essence of this summit?
So you are right. It's debate. The organizers may disagree to some extent, but the truth is that before their submissions, we're really having a good time, right? With the issues about AI and whatnot. But once you invite politically exposed people, and indeed, the former president did indicate when he was delivering his speech in his preamble that it's an election year, and he asked to be forgiven, as he intended to be frontal and call a spade a spade. And he went on and on and on. And having done that, you wouldn't expect that the other side would be fired. And so, but I also think that beyond what may have almost marred the event, the politics of it is that they put across some policies that they think would help us and stand us in good stead. So, all in all, it wasn't that bad, except that the accusations and counter-accusations almost marred the event and generated a lot of heat in the hall. You understand?
Yeah.
So it wasn't that bad, But we wish, because then eventually, if you monitored the airwaves and the media scene the following day, most of the papers were awash with issues that came up between the two of them. And I do recall that even our own paper described it as fireworks at the CEO summit. And that is what it was, actually. It was a back and forth about what I have done to improve the economy, what you didn't do that has brought us where we are now. You understand? So basically that was what it was. It almost marked the event, almost took away the shine of the event. But all in all, I'm sure the organizers will learn some lessons, and going forward, will know how. It was almost like, as the MC did indicate, that the presidential debate had begun.
Yeah, I recall Jerry Ajololo, the MC of the day, saying the presidential debate had begun.
Yes, so on that one, that's what I can say. But beyond that, everything was fine. Quite intriguing submissions, submissions that would help our cause in our current economic realities, Jerry. We heard the CEO of Excel and what she said about how they were exploiting and exploring AI in their operations, which we would identify with, subscribers would identify with. It's interesting how AI is able to help and jumpstart productivity. And she did indicate, the CEO, Madam Patricia Obonai, indicating how on the field the officers exploit AI to deal with issues, network issues there and there. That go a long way to help and make the network stronger and more robust to serve their customers and subscribers. So that is very key. We also had the first speaker, I don't recall his name, but then you recall how he was able to use AI to compose a song there and there, Gary.
Yeah, and the Greek name, and I remember he composed the song, and the content, the lyrics of the song he used were the content of the web page of the CEO Summit.
So you see how we can use AI to come up with these things. That is quite interesting. And there is more, There's a lot more that maybe we did not uncover. I want to believe that they want to build on what has been, when they have assessed the whole summit, they want to build on it to do better next time. But a lot of other speakers came in. But there is one other thing that I observed was towards the end, it appeared that most of the CEOs had left the summit. We had less than half of CEOs and dignitaries who were seated in the morning there by 4 p.m. You understand? And so maybe going forward, we may want to look at how these things pan out so we can retain as many as we would want to be in there to hear and to experience whatever is being put out there.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You see, one of the people that we interviewed, Zed, when we had our makeshift studio inside the conference facility, happened to have been Madam Abnamoa, who is the managing director of the Ghana Stock Exchange, and she made a very important point. And I think this is something that organizers should look at next time, because she said that she would have wished, right, that the whole summit would come down to 5 directives or 5 decisions that will be made, and then those 5, right, will be the marking scheme for next year. So a year from today, when people come back to the same CEO summit. They will say, last year when we left, these were the 5 things we wanted to do, and we've done them, or we've not been able to do them, or something. I didn't get that feel. Did you get that feel as well? That because you stayed there throughout the event, could you point 2 or 3 things that the CEOs committed themselves to that they would do, so that next year we could see whether they did it or not? Did you get that feel?
I did not get that, and so I agree with MD of GSC with what she said she wished would happen. And Jerry, the worst of it was the politics of it, and what transpired there, which almost marred it. But then I'm yet to see any action points from the summit. This is not to undo what may have been done, but I think that I would side with Ms. Abnamwa on what she wished would have happened in terms of making the whole thing, or coming around some action points, a 5-point plan or a 3-point plan that makes it easy to get back to and measure results going forward, so that next year's summit would be better organized and serve better. You understand?
Yeah.
So for me, I think that maybe what would happen is individual companies and CEOs would take what they got from the submissions and the organization of the entire summit. You recall that Professor Ernest Abuchi quizzed the former president and the flag bearer of the NDC on his policies, which was good, which was quite welcome. He did the same with our current vice president, who spoke through a video link and engaged him, asking about the size of government and what his vision is, whether he would want to switch to a lower or a much less size of government, and to which he responded. So all in all, it's fine, except that one may see it as scattered, as against what the MD of GSC would have wished to have happened.
Okay. And this year's event was also supposed to be a public and private sector conversation that was happening around the AI space. Did you get that feel that as a business journalist, as a seasoned business journalist, did you walk away thinking that public sector had made the right, as it were, approaches to private sector for private sector to have responded? Did that dialogue really happen between public sector and private sector, or are we saying that public sector was what the 2 presidential candidates did?
No, so yes, to some extent it did happen, because I recall in the last segment we had the Director General of the State Interest and Governance Authority, SIGA, speak, and he spoke at length about how the SOEs were performing. And I recall that one of the main targets for this summit was to use AI to better the lot of SOEs, most of which are not doing well. There are a few ones that are excelling, but then what we want is for the SOEs to do better, and for corporate governance principles to be followed strictly by SOEs. And so I think to some extent, yes, we had that. Except that, as I said earlier, at the time the SOE platform or subject matter came, most of the CEOs were not present. It was drawing down to the end, and so many were not there. But I listened to the discussions, the deliberations, and they were quite interesting. That was also where Ms. Abnamwa of the GSC spoke and told them, well, you need to come to the GSC and raise funds, raise money to expand your business. We have pension funds that are lying idle, she said again. And so there's a lot that you can make if you come to the GSC. And so I think that it was not that bad. Yes, there was that relationship, but it could have been better, Jerry. It could have been better.
Okay, that is a very important point you just made there, and that is the timing, right? Because the thing is that CEOs really don't have a lot of time. So if they came in around 10, you should know that by 12:30, there are some other meetings and all that. So maybe that's something that we missed out, or something that the organizers might have missed out.
Yes. So Terry, you see, when you go to such events and your ears are on the ground, you pick a lot of information. So because the time had been stretched beyond the point, you would hear one or two CEOs say, "We have kept long. I need to move." And as I said, these are busy people who have little time to spare. They have to have meetings and upon meetings. So I recall meeting one of the CEOs of one of the banks, and I wanted to engage her to speak with her, and she said that, well, I need this program to start early because I have a lot of other things to do. I need to get back to the office to continue my work. So
I can imagine.
How serious it is,
So maybe it could have been better handled as well. That is good. And then the next day, Mr. Edu, you were on a bus to Ada.
Yes.
Okay, so let's come to that your journey. Run us through that journey. How was it like? Where did your journey start from and all that? What really transpired that the next day?
So my journey started from the Kamo all the way through Mutual, where you have Central University and then Doinya, and then it went on till we arrived. So it was not that long, but we still experienced some traffic along the stretch, and so it was good. We prepared ourselves. The organizers, as the AGI, prepared themselves adequately, and so we got there in good time. So this is a project that they described as an industrial extension, as we indicated earlier. And they felt that it was important that if one of their own had set up this magnificent facility or project, it was key. And I also get the sense that from what the Accra chairman of AGI was saying and telling his own members to network, it appears that we don't seem to take networking that serious. There's this thing about, let me be in my corner and work. You get it, Jerry. It's something that we keep struggling with. Joining hands together, looking at opportunities and coming together to do business. So when we got the chairman in his first submissions alluded to the fact that we need to learn from each other. We've come to a project that is owned by one of our own. And so as you are here, make sure that you not leave the same. Make sure that whatever it says that you are saying, identify where you can fit in along the chain. You get it. So this is a salt industry. And there are various processes, stages, where based on what you are doing, you can make, you can clinch a deal, you see? And this is a big project. And
okay, so Ike, when you got there, how when people keep saying it's a big project, can you paint a picture for us? What is this electrochem facility like that has become such a talk of the town? Why is it so impressive to people?
For a project that covers about 41,000 acres of land,
41,000 acres.
So it's mind-boggling. And so I kept on saying that, well, you need to travel outside to see things. We've traveled outside and seen things, but in our own space, there are very few times that you come across such projects. This is my candid opinion. There are very few times that you come across, and well, this is the single, for me, is the single most largest project. You understand? We heard of industrial parks.
Okay.
Yes, we heard of industrial parks, industrial zones, the free zones, enclave. But this particular one stands out. And so when you look at what they had dammed, for want of a better word, sea water that they had dammed in preparation for salt production, and it's not just one. This is very, very wide dams with embankments, and several of them.
Okay.
So I don't know how else to describe it, but
has production started?
Yes, it has. It has, but the leader has a vision. He's a visionary, and so yes, it has started. But he wants to go the next step. He wants to add value. His target is to produce not to retail, but to export and to give to others to retail. You get it? And he said that he's coming up with a port and a refinery. I don't know how you can describe these ideas, but the feedback I got as I went with them, as the AGI members saw what they saw, they were perplexed. They were amazed. And you can tell that everyone wants to have a feel of such a thing. Everyone wants to have a feel of this project.
Interesting.
And, so there should be some continuity. It should not stop there. This is what I always keep on saying. We cannot say we visit the place and come back to sleep.
What about numbers? Did you see people working? I mean, what kind of numbers did you see when you got there in terms of the labor?
Yeah, so there were a few workers that we saw, but apparently they had held production just to make way for our coming. And so the attention was on us. You understand? They had to receive us and receive as well, and tell us what the story is about. You get it. So production had not stalled completely, but it was to help us to understand the genesis of the project and the future of the prospects ahead of us. And if you ask me, when we heard Dr. Macaulay speak, he was modest. But
he spoke at the event.
Yes, he spoke to us. Yes, and he did say that this resource, this salt, is different. The quality of this salt is different, and he alluded to going to India for a conference on salt, and they erected a stand, and 3 laboratories in India came for samples of the salt from Ghana. And all 3 labs confirmed it was of the highest quality. You get it. And so Dr. Macaulay goes on to say that this thing you are seeing has 14,000 uses. You didn't hear that?
I got you. I'm just shocked. What 14,000 uses of what?
Uses of the kind of salt we're producing here. In terms of in the industrial use, so they're not. He's not limiting himself to salt consumption by way of consuming salt at home. No, this is for industrial use. And the other bit of it is that it is not. It's not about the critical minerals like lithium that we're making a lot of noise about. Things that are made from sodium, which comes from salt, sodium chloride, last longer. And he went on to say that the sodium batteries in phones have been shown to last longer than the lithium batteries. How about that? Jerry, what do you think about that?
Wow. So salt could actually be used in the sodium batteries because salt is sodium chloride.
Yes, and it says everything in the room, including the long table, and everything in the room was made from salt. And so he did allude to the fact that it seems we have been joking about this. But this is a resource that we cannot toy with.
Interesting.
Yes.
When you said including the table, I mean, you said something about table. What does that mean?
Yes. No, so in the conference room, there's a wooden table. A long wooden table, very nicely done. And he says, this thing you are seeing was produced from salt. Yes.
Ike, hold on there. A table with legs. A table with legs was made from salt.
Yeah, so what he means by that is chemically, the chemicals that made up this thing we are seeing came from salt. And so salt has a lot of byproducts. And no wonder he says 14,000. And you open your mouth and you're like, really? And that is it. This is what we are seeing. This is the quality of salt we have.
Wow.
Yes. So that trip was something else for us. And I could tell on the faces of AGI members, they were amazed.
Yeah, because as you're talking now, I'm just seeing something they call marbled salt, right? Where the material consists of 95% sea salt, which has been mixed with tree resin to allow for forming into a variety of products, including tables and chairs and any other thing like that. So it's true. Salt can actually be used in manufacturing furniture.
Mm. So we have brains in this country. We have people who can do things, make things happen in this country. And so I believe there is hope. There is hope if we can support the likes of these. And we see on our way to the place when you spoke to me and asked about my views as a business journalist, I said the key word is diversification.
Yeah, I recall.
The key word is diversification. And the CEO of Electrochem confirmed that when he said, see, what we're going to earn from this, or what we are started earning from this, will outweigh what comes in from cocoa and gold and oil. So we ought to be serious about it.
Wow.
Yes.
And did
for us is something else that will blow the minds of everybody. So if the Indians themselves have confirmed it, then I don't know what else you are waiting for. But Dr. Macaulay is focused. He is focused. He says by August there's going to be a port, there's going to be a refinery.
Wow.
And no qualms about that.
Yesterday there was a story on citynewsroom.com which said that Electrochem Ghana is to list on Ghana Stock Exchange. And a bit of it is like indigenous salt mining firm Electrochem Ghana Limited, a subsidiary of Magdan Group of Companies, is set to expedite the listing of its shares on the Ghana Stock Exchange in the coming month. This move is aimed at attracting potential investors to expand the company's opportunity, and this was supposed to be part of something that happened on your trip. Did you get that from this your industrial toy on that day on Tuesday?
Jerry, let me tell you, this came out during the CEO summit, and we were the first to break it. If you recall, I'm not sure if you monitored, but at the 6 p.m. news, I introduced that bit because then, Dr. Macaulay was at the CEO summit.
Yes, I recall. He won an award as well.
Yes, he sat in the last session, the last panel discussion, which also had Ms. Abnamwa of the GSC. And during the discussion, he threw that in, that Letrochem was going to list on the stock exchange. And so in my report, I alluded to that. And so we did that before CTFM did that.
Okay. Yeah, because they are talking about the fact that it happened the next day at the industrial turbine. Your report came the day before during the CEO summit. Yes. Fantastic.
Yes. Dr. Macaulay had said that in his submission. And then the CEO also alluded to that when we visited the salt factory. And so this is good news. Yes. So the intention is good.
Why is it good news? Ike, why is it good news?
Oh, you don't want to be a shareholder in that business, Jerry. You don't want to be.
Oh, if I have the cash, why not?
The Ghanaians are part owners of such a gargantuan project. Oh, we want to be part of it. And it's good to hear him say that. It's good to link on the stock exchange and sell shares and be able to raise capital and grow and keep expanding. This is what we want for our company. This is an indigenous company that says that I want to list. But if the foreign ones whose subsidiaries are here are listing on the bears, what are we waiting for? This is good. And I'm happy. Thumbs up to Dr. Macaulay and his team. You get it? We need to support him. And I know the GSC's MD is happy, more than happy. And this is what he's been singing all this while. He's made a clarion call to Ghanaian businesses, profit-making Ghanaian businesses, to list on the best, raise capital. You get it?
I do.
It's very key, Jerry.
That's very important. Okay, so we would maybe ask for final words from you. Then we continue the conversation. We allow you to go into the Ghana Employers Association discussion. Maybe you bring back that to us again. Thank you. So any last words, Mr. Isaac, before we allow you to go?
Yeah, so what I want to say with regards to the salt industry, the salt project at Sango, in my interaction with the CEO, Mr. Abdul Razak Adam, he said that one concern of this, and Jerry, I heard you talk about that yesterday, is security. Let us not joke with security for businesses. And in this, I want to say that in the recent past, we've had challenges with mining and insecurity. And so the members of the Ghana Chamber of Mines have had cause to request for security for their concessions. And so I want to trumpet the call by the CEO of Letrochem that government supports them in terms of security. He did admit that they are working with the national security to protect their staff. Then, because apparently there are some miscreants in the community who are not too happy with the fact that the contract has been given to them, and so they come in once in a while and they want to foment trouble. But it's key to ensure that they are secured and the investment is well secured. From what we have said today and what we've been saying in the past few days, this is a resource that we cannot joke with. And so if we don't want to joke with it, then let's protect it. Let's protect it. That's all I have to say on that one.
Thank you very much, Mr. Isaac Edu from our business desk on Z Talk. talking about the CEO Summit and also the AGI Strip to Electrochem's facility. It's 5 minutes to the top of the hour 9. Coming up is customer service and experience moment right here on Zed in the Morning.
Jim, it's great to be back home.
It off first. Unfortunately, many business leaders see and treat customer service as just a nice thing to have. It is therefore not surprising that many businesses fail to provide consistently positive experiences for their customers. Customers know how to respond to poor service. What do? They go elsewhere, and they often tell their friends and colleagues to do the same. This is why Zed in the Morning brings you this segment and every Monday to Friday. Customer service and experience moments brings you daily lessons that would help businesses provide services that create sizzling experiences. And this week we've been talking about wrong thoughts of frontliners that leads to wrong attitudes, that leads to wrong behaviors or actions. We said some of these thoughts are someone thinking, or a frontline professional thinking, I wasn't employed by you, Mr. Customer. And we said that was a wrong thing. It comes from a misunderstanding of how business actually works. Then we also spoke about someone thinking, I don't need these customers. No, you need every single customer. Then yesterday we spoke about, I am not to blame. You want to put the blame on a customer, be very careful. That's a wrong thought. It could lead to a wrong attitude, which could lead to a wrong action. Today, we're touching on another of the wrong thoughts that could generate the terrible attitudes. I am not paid high enough to treat you well. I am not paid high enough to treat you well. And he said this proceeds from individuals who come to work just for the salary. So what this means is that their attitude towards the customer is dependent on the mood they are in. Whether they've been paid their salary or whether the salary is enough or something, they react to customers based on whether they've been paid or not. And this is this proceeds from individuals who come to work just for the salary. This mindset also takes root when individuals feel they are not being compensated well enough. Yes, so people will react towards customers based on whether they feel they are compensated enough. So you hear people blow up on customers, and then when the customers complain, they'll say, but am I paid enough to do all this for you, or something like that. When you begin to think of equating compensation with service, there is going to be a problem. You are definitely going to fall into a very big ditch, because you're going to react to a customer based on how you feel you should have been paid, or you deserve to be paid. That would always land you into big trouble. You don't want to have that thought. So banish that thought. Like we said, banish any thought that will lead to poor attitudes, which will lead to poor actions. Because if the thought is there, no matter how well you try to mask it with a smile or something, it won't fly. Why? Because the customer will still see through your acts that you are faking it. And when customers realize you're faking it, it is not the very best for you and your organization. So this thing, customer service and experience moment right here on Zed in the Morning. It's 9 a.m. We'll come back with the last segment of the show.
It's your lifestyle.
Meridian, amazing track, good but oldie, an oldie but a goodie as well. So in line with this, we want to talk ban on noise making within Accra in the prelude to the Homo Festival. We're talking to someone who understands the very essence of that culture, who appreciates what this is all about. Nimama is joining us straight from where he calls Jamestown Boutique. He will tell us what Jamestown Boutique is, what it is all about, right here on Arts, Culture and Tourism Thursdays. This is Zed in the morning. Nimama is joining us, and we'll have that conversation right about now. But still, it's still homo, it's still ban. And if you wondered why the ban and all that, it's very important that we talk to someone who understands the space. And so this song has just set the mood absolutely right for this discussion. Good morning, Nimawa. Supposed to be something called Jamestown Boutique. Let's start from there.
Yes.
It's intriguing. What is Jamestown Boutique?
Okay, so Jamestown Boutique is a place for tourism. We set up the place about 7 years ago purposely to give a different feel about Jamestown, how people perceive Jamestown to be, that is not supposed to be so. And also we make the place a multi-purpose place where we deal with artists, we deal with musicians, we deal with several other people who write books. We do live music. We also do DJs, parties, and other things. So that's what Jamestown Boutique is about. And then we run walking tours for visitors who want to know more about Jamestown, because most people didn't know that Jamestown also was part of the contribution to the slave trade activities. That is why we have the James Fort. And James Fort is connected to the transatlantic slave trade. And then we also have like individual homes that were also used for the transatlantic slave trade, like the Hanson's home, like the Ajiri Mormon. We have the Island where we have several of them. And then Jamestown also became the commercial hub when the harbor was built. So you have industries like the PZ, you have industries like the harbor and Stewart. You also have the Teshin House, which is now Moko, Buzier's wife, former President Buzier's wife, now Moko's house, where they traded in beads, and they were importing beads from all over the world. And that is another landmark in Jamestown. Then we also have the Sea Hotel, which is like now gone and is no more. And then we also have the first well that was, or the first reservoir that was made for treatment water in the whole of Accra in 1910 by the British. And the fountain is still standing. Then we have the memorial, the War Memorial also standing, the Saguenti War Memorial also standing in Jamestown. Then you also have the famous Manchagona, where famous declaration like President Kufuor's gallon, where you ask whether you can buy the gallon of petrol at 4 cities or so. So Manchagona became one of the landmarks when it comes to politics, and Jamestown have been the home of politics because Kwame Nkrumah was in prison in Jamestown with the Big Fish. He came out of the James Ford prison, became the Prime Minister, the President of Ghana. Several people like Obeche Lamte, Dr. Bannerman, and a host of others. The Bannermans, the Kanlo Bar, which is one of the oldest bar, is no more, but it's a resemblance. Then for those who are over 40 years, they'll remember that those days when it's Christmas, the only biscuit you can enjoy is the Piccadilly biscuit, a small one. Piccadilly used to be at Jamestown. So Jamestown has fed the world in terms of, or fed Ghana in terms of even Christmas, how people celebrate Christmas, where you have your small biscuits that you can put in the robes and put it on your neck, and you're happy your friend wants to have a biscuit or enjoy your Christmas with you, and just take a piece of it and give it to the person, and it was in Jamestown. Apart from that,
wow.
railway system in Ghana, apart from Takra, the Jamestown was a big railway network connection. So you can connect railway from Accra all the way to Sawam, Kumasi, because the railway line for shipping was right into Jamestown as well. The lighthouse, many people know about it, so I don't want to talk much about the lighthouse. And then we also have the Pressing Iron. There's a house next to the old European cemetery, which is called the Pressing Iron. They were into sewing way back. They are a descendant of the Brazilian community that came to Ghana. And then next to it, we used to have a European cemetery. So it is not only Elmina and Cape Coast that have the European cemetery, but we used to have a European cemetery in Accra, one in Jamestown, and the next one is next to the Wesley Methodist Church. And the European cemetery in Jamestown, we used to play football there, we call it Brofwashie. It is right behind Betimbo de Grisu's family house. So the Moats, their house is just behind the cemetery. And we used to have nuns who stayed in Betimbo Idris's family home. And today, that home still looks like a very prestige home in Jamestown. And that stretch have the families of the Ashleys, the Vanderpoy, Justice VC, RCWYK, Cra. Their family house is also there. Then we have a particular house there called Tekulu, which used to be the home of most of the Fantis that came from Cape Coast and Takoradi to help in building the Tema Harbour. As we speak, we have some of the Fantis whose descendants are still living in that particular. The Blanksins, you can talk about the Blanksins, their houses. The Mills, the Kinsey Mills, their house is also there. The Bruce, their house is also there. The Hayward Mills, the Reverend Doug Hayward Mills' grandfather, the most astute lawyer ever. You can't compare him to any other lawyer in Ghana and Gold Coast. He will trick you when it comes to law. The house is no more, but the family house is there. Then you have Azuma Nelson. You know, boxing is one of the biggest games in Accra. And Azuma Nelson started his boxing at a place called Akutuku Academy, where he had opportunity of chasing one young lad in the community, which he thinks he can beat, but that guy was learning how to box. And then he went to the gym to go and beat the guy with his friends. And then he lost that particular bout. And that is how come Azuma Nelson went back into the gym and said, I want to beat this guy forever so that at least my soul will be happy. And he became the most prominent and the only professor of boxing in the whole world. So Jamestown have a lot. And then we used to have the British market called the London market. And if you are not a Londoner or if you are not an English person, you will never go into that particular market to even purchase an item. So Jamestown have a lot. And if you come to us at Jamestown Boutique, we take you to some of these places to enjoy the walk in Jamestown.
So Jamestown then used to be like the center of Accra, if I get you right.
It used to be the center of the world, not even Accra, because everybody, all the Europeans, after the abolition of the slave trade, their attraction is in Jamestown and Dutch Accra. So sometimes people couldn't distinguish between the two. We have the British Accra and the Dutch Accra. So Jamestown is just a portion of it. So when you go to the Dutch Accra, you have the Usher Fort, you have the Jacobsburg House, which is the house of the Vanderpoys, the original Vanderpoys from Scotland. Then you have the Lutrots, where Georgina Wood is coming from, or the Georgina Wood family is coming from. You also have the old post office, which is the ground zero. When you want to measure any measurement from Accra to Tamale, you go to Accra General Post Office, and that is where we have ground zero. And then you have the oldest bar in the Gold Coast called the Watu Club. That is also there. Then you have the Salaga Market. The Salaga Market, which is related to the slave market in the north, which have a connecting tunnel with wells into the fort. And then you have the various traditional palaces like the Gbese Mancha Palace, the Gamache Soul House. You also have the Sakumo Way, which is the shrine area. You have the Nae Way. You have the Kole Way. So in Old Accra, you have the traditional part, and then you have what we call the, let's say, the elitist or the educative part of. So you have the British Accra and the Dutch Accra.
Oh, okay.
And
so
you have a lane which divide the British Accra and the Jamestown, and then the Dutch Accra. And you know what the name of the place is called? Liverpool.
Oh, wow.
So the boundary line between the Dutch Accra and the British Accra is called Liverpool, and that is where we have the oldest photographer studio, the Dio Gratias. And if you go into Dio Gratias, you also find out some of the old cameras that were used by the old man and his children up to date, still in that particular studio. And you find most of the old pictures of ancient times or many years, a century old, in that particular studio as well.
What a history lesson, Nimama, you've just given my listeners and myself. But let me find out, so with all these very memorable things that Jamestown used to stand for and all that, how are we preserving Jamestown? What are we doing to ensure that this Dio Gratis place, because I've seen the Dio Gratis, I've never entered before, just that you now piqued my interest. Maybe one of these days I should drive there and go find out what is in there. How do we ensure that this thing stay for the next generation?
Well, the family has done well. They're trying to preserve it. Recently, they've opened a shop. So when we were growing up in Accra, there's a place that the old man, the old man, as you call him, used to display pictures. So if you want to see pictures from Independence Square during 6th March, you go to Bill Gratas or you go to UTC, where all the pictures are displayed. So they've remodeled that place again and put in a screen where they slide most of these old pictures from the past. And then when you go in there, you see some of the other pictures as well. So that one is preserved. There are few ones that are like the Brazil house. Those ones were once preserved, but before it went off again. There are some few. This UNESCO way back nominated some of these homes, like the Brazil house, the CV Hotel, the Pesci house, the Adosso house. I think about 5 or 6 houses as a World UNESCO heritage site. But as a country, we are not serious when it comes to monuments. So we just left these things to go rotting. But maybe one day we'll get a leader who understands monuments and understands tourism better. Then they can see Jamestown as a model. So at least what we are doing in Jamestown Boutique, is like we're trying to bring the memory back. We're trying to point out the places that you need to know that this is what it used to be like. The CV Hotel was bought by Latter-day Saints in any civilized country. And when I made a civilized, in capital letters, in any civilized country, there is no way the state will even look at it for the CV Hotel to be sold. Again, in any civilized institution, the Adosso House will never go. Adosso House was the first 5-story or 4-story building built in the Gold Coast. And also, they bought some of the rail lines that were supposed to be used for the railway line to build the house. So that was a solid, and it looks like, if you have watched this from the ghost, the house looks like a ghost house.
Wow.
If you go in there, you can get missing. But, it is falling off. Not falling off, it has broken down, and the church, and I don't know what the church is about. They are always in the process of buying very monumental products. Like you have this, let's say, even the cinemas. Today, we talk about the youth going off, because in the past, if you go to the cinema, you meet people, you engage. If you have any bad behaviors, the kind of friends you meet at the cinema will change your life. Some of us have gone to the Red Cinema, the Opera Cinema, the Royal Cinema. All these places are gone. But it's because we've not gotten the leader who understand the concept of monument and understand tourism from a very professional point. They are all just politicians who doesn't know nothing from whatever. So they just talk rubbishly, and then they do things by us without even thinking about what they are doing. So we hope that as we are doing with the walking tours in Jamestown, maybe it still brings in the memory.
Yeah, that's very insightful there, Nimama. So let's now move in from Jamestown. Used to be prominent. It's lost its prominence some way, somehow. And yourself and your colleagues are doing as much as you can to ensure that the memory of Jamestown or Jamestown becomes a center of attraction within Ghana's tourism space. I think for many of us, the only one we remember is the lighthouse. The one is that because it's by the roadside. So, but I didn't know that the history was that rich. Currently, you said Jamestown also there was a port there at a point.
Yeah, we used to have a port, the main port. Now it's being reconstructed.
That's the question I wanted to ask you. What is happening at that same the port space now?
The construction is still going.
Construction of another port?
Of another port.
Okay. What have they told you about the purpose of this new one? What is the main essence?
Well, we all know that there's a construction going on, which is going to be a port, but whether it's going to be the same fishing port like you have the Bosuntistan port or maybe the Mina fishing port, we don't know, but we hope it's going to be the same. From the construction, it doesn't look like it's going to be something for big ships or anything, something small. So we hope that the fishermen will come back again and they have some shops. At least it's going to bring some kind of decency into the Jamestown Harbour for once, because at a point it became like a shanty town. People come to Accra or they come to Jamestown and say, I want to go to the Jamestown Fishing Village. And I'm like, it's not a village. This is the heart of the city. If the place is so shanty in picture, it doesn't mean it's a village. So sometimes we try to educate the people that you can never have a village in the heart of the city where the city started from. But because of the way people perceive it, the way other tour walking working tour guides in the community were portraying to. So recently we did training for all the tour guides in Jamestown, so that we all have a very harmonious presentation, so that when we talk, and people will not take it from context, but they will understand exactly. So that's what Jamestown Boutique also does. We train the tour guide in Jamestown also to give them the experience, so that when they run the tour, they will speak from a professional point. So we hope the harbor will be properly done, and then at least you can take tourists in there and see how fishing is done in Accra. And it's only in Jamestown that they don't allow light fishing. All over Ghana, they do light fishing, but in Jamestown, you can never do light fishing. They will never allow you to do that.
Wow. Are people aware of the origin of the name Jamestown, the James that the town was named after?
Yes, people are aware, and we also help in the education. So we have few groups like the Arts for Change there. We have a group called the Santa Loye. Every August, they do what they call the Odododiodo. The presentation is called Odododiodo, and they portray all these stories through dance and music. So we're bringing up education. In the last 3 years, we've done 3 editions. The first one was done in Jamestown, and the next 2 we did it at the National Theatre. So we're trying to bring in the education to people. Maybe this year when we are ready, we'll let you know, so that you give us some space to also talk about the Odududu. Then we have what we call the Art for Change group, which also does theatre, and then they also educate the community with some of these, and they also do art festivals as well in Jamestown, called the Jamestown Art Festival. It's very, very small, but that is also targeted at the little ones. So from primary school to JSS, those are the target markets that we target, so that we can bring in more artists from Jamestown.
That's fantastic. Listeners, you can join us on 0544-321-019. Send a WhatsApp message. You can call. Also, the landline is 0303-956641. You can also follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on X at ZFMGH. TikTok and YouTube is at Z Multimedia. The website is zmultimedia.com. Keep your messages coming. I've gotten one already. I'm enjoying the interview and his depth of knowledge on the tourism potential of Jamestown. However, he used a word which I think he should apologize for. He said rubbish. So where the person said very insightful and educative interview, but Nimama, they said he used the word rubbish. So first of all, Z distances himself. So you should.
I take full responsibility for that, because I'm passionate for Jamestown. When I use the word rubbish, I use it in context, because I said if we understand the tourism potential of Jamestown, then government will look at it again. And it's not just Jamestown, it's the whole country. So I may extend it even to Osu. We have the Christianborg Castle. We have the Ukantes Fort. We have the Richter's Fort. We have several other forts in Osu. And then landmark like the Wolf's House, the Bannerman's House, the Duncan's House, and all this, the Randolph's House. Look at Randolph help in the translation of the Ghana language, the English language into the English Bible into the Ghana Bible, and the house is still there. But what are we doing? The Presbyterian Church have a whole monument just opposite the Christianborg Castle. It's falling off. Nobody is paying attention to it, and we're all talking about going to borrow. Meanwhile, you have the resources. You have what can bring you the money here. So when I say rubbish, this is what I mean, that the politicians are just being rubbish because they don't see the potential. We don't need, like we always say, we don't need to borrow. We have what it takes to do it here. So, Mr. Listener, please don't get me wrong. I'm so passionate about what I'm talking about. And if you understand what tourism can do to many parts of the world, Rwanda today is doing better than even Ghana. Rwanda, a country that could chop hands of people, is even doing better than, and we have more potential. Senegal have only 1 fort. We have more than 40 forts, just from the stretch of Accra, Jamestown to even just Teshin. You have 4 or 5 forts. I cried because I went to Teshin. There's a fort there called Fort Augusta. And what happened? Because there's going to be a funeral, the remains of the fort was crushed down. And I cried. And then they said, oh, some white people came around and they put some gadgets down. They took some bottles with papers in that and they went away. And I was like, what? This is information. This is rich information. It's gone because we don't pay much attention. But if we pay much attention, some of these things are monuments, they are heritage that we can generate so much from. So I take responsibility for that. People who knows me. I say it as it is. I'm from Teshi, and we don't cover the word, the proper word with any red cloth or even the black cloth. We say it plain.
Okay, Nimama, I get your passion and your frustration at distance, but if yes, I get it, the passion. But if we, our people on the shores and on the coast, have these monuments, and is it not we ourselves who don't appreciate it? That is why we are allowing it to rot. Should it always be about government? You are doing Jamestown Boutique. I'm not sure government has any hand in what you're doing. But is it not because you understand and appreciate the legacy, the heritage of where you are? That is why you're doing what you're doing. Should it not be about we ourselves, or should it be government?
It always has to be government. I always say this, that if we have a proper housing policy, the stretch of Accra will not even have to Achimota. We will not even go beyond Achimota at this point, because there will be proper housing policy. It's not everybody who is just going to say, I'm going to buy a land and build. So when you put the proper structures in place and you follow the structures properly, what happens is that you're going to get everything right. The individual can do it, like I'm doing it now. I wish I could train even more people, but the resources is not available. So if we have just 4 or 5 people, we train. I wanted to go back to Osu to do a walking tour in Osu. I wanted to do one in Teshi, but it's all resource. And if I'm individual, I can't do everything. But when the policy is there and the government have put everything in place, the monuments have, just go to Osu Castle. After the presidency was moved to Flagstaff, the main hall, the reception where the president received all the visitors, you know that the ceiling fell in just less than 2 years. He said, wow.
The ceiling fell in.
The ceiling fell in up to date. I'm telling you, if you want to do a tour of the Sukasi, they will take you to that presidential hall where they welcome all the visitors that we've known. You can't go in there. It's locked because it's falling. Just go behind the Christian Castle. It's falling off. Just within this short time, the Christian Castle have deteriorated like 50 years. Just this short time that the presidency was moved from the Christian Castle to the Flagstaff House, it have deteriorated for like 50 years because we don't put the proper policy in place to make sure that we get what is right for the country.
Wow. Someone said, wow. I didn't say that, wow. Somebody said, wow. Very insightful and educative interview.
The people who want to do it. Have you been to the Independence Square of late? Because we decided that now we're going to celebrate independence across the country. We abandoned the Independence Square. And it just fell off. It's even falling off. Go to the Independence Arch. Go and see the cracks in there. If you are a serious country where everybody comes to Ghana and the first place the person wants to take a shot is the Independence Arch. There used to be a plaque there which was put there by Queen Elizabeth and President Nkrumah. It's taken off. Somebody have taken the thing off. If you go there and you ask, you don't know where it is. Which kind of human being are we? If we, the ordinary people, cannot even do it, even the state itself cannot handle it. The plaque is no more there. Go back to the Independence Square, the Independence Arch, and check. There's plaque on your right-hand side, when you're coming from the Accra side to the Osu side. On your right-hand side, there used to be a plaque there, laid there by the Queen of England, Queen Elizabeth. And then President Nkrumah is taken off. The place is broken. It's because maybe next year we're going to have a presidential election. This year we're having a president, and then they'll be swearing in this year. That's why they're painting there. But the energy of the Independence Square is no more. They are not. Why do we want to wait 4 years? Then we do a painting or we do some polishing. You have the what do you call it? The old Parliament House, which have the beautiful artifacts from Antoban. This should be a monument. It should be a museum. We've taken Chirad and put them there, and we are wasting a lot of resources. The old Parliament House should have been a museum and not office for Chirad, because the artifacts that the gentleman called Antoban, his contribution into the art in Ghana, from Gold Coast to Ghana, it is so much that we cannot just throw it away. So
wow.
It is not about an individual trying to do something and what about the local people doing. Everybody we say in tourism that the tour guide is the eye of the tourist. If you want the tourist to see the bad things, the tourist will see the bad things. If you want the tourist to see the good things, he will see the good things. So if government wanted to see Israel or wanted to see Jerusalem, wanted to see heaven, it is government who will lead us to go and see it. It is not we, the individual. How many people can we pull? Today, we have a ban on drumming. We have a policy in the bylaws that says that you have to play music at a certain decimal. If government is serious, when it's time for ban on drumming, they will even support it more, because I'm telling you, for 1 month, if you live in certain areas in Accra, you can sleep. You can sleep with your 2 eyes closed, your ears blocked, and you can sleep soundly. People are so happy that the ban is even just 1 month. They wish it could be more than 1 month. But when the ancestors or our forefathers put in these measures, people don't really understand it. The ban is a period for we to, you have a spiritual part and you also have an environmental part. The environmental part is to bring the environment into its natural space. So if there's a forest and you live next to the forest and you have all this loud noise for a period of time, you destroy or distract the plant. The plant also needs time to rejuvenate. So our ancestors did that. And you see that at that period of time, they said we're doing the ban. They go into the farm, they till the land, they make sure that everything is nice. For a period of 1 month, the ecosystem is so clean, no noise, no noise pollution. Then human beings also don't have noise pollution. So if you live close to a church, or you live next to a mosque, or you live next to a bar or a club, for 1 month, your eardrums will be happy. Your eardrums will be like, I'm so happy that today or this month I'm being taken care of. No noise, nothing is worrying me. Your stress level will come down. And then also, during that period, that is the time that we till the land. So I always tell people, just look at the time of the ban on drumming. The times that they do the rituals, those are the days that the water, the rain come down, because they need the water to cool down the surface of the earth, and then it cools the surface. So we just transition from a very hot temperature. And then as soon as we go into the ban on drumming period, you can see that the transition of the environment or the ecosystem and also the weather changes. Now you can have some cool air, you can go into your farm, you can till the land, you can do all the better jobs that you do. Apart from that, that's the period that we pray. So you have the Christians, during the Lent, nobody talks about it. They also need time to pray. During Ramadan, they also need time to pray. During the ban on drumming, that's the time that the traditional leaders and the traditional people also do their fasting. And then they also pray for Mother Earth and pray for this country. Is it because maybe they don't have a big church or they don't have a big mosque to say that we are also doing this, so let's push them on the side? And then you have people violating it, and then the state look at it. In some countries, they have similar things like this for a period of time, that you don't do so many things that destroy the environment. And that is what this ban on drumming is all about.
Interesting. The history lesson continues right here on Zed in the Morning with the man Nimama from Jamestown Boutique. Started with Jamestown, now we've moved into the ban and all them. There used to be a time when the ban on noise making would generate fisticuffs and fights and altercations all around. These days, it is no more. Is that not to say that people within Accra are beginning to understand some of these cultural practices of the Gans especially?
I believe most of them are trying to understand, but most of them is because they have their peace of mind to sleep. That is why they are all supporting it. I listen to people on radio, I listen to people when you sit in the church, and they will tell you that, oh, now you can come to Accra, it's like you are in heaven because the whole place is quiet. You can think. People are saying that, yes, so it's not just that the enforcement have gone down so well, but now people are conscious about the environment. People are conscious about their living. Just imagine you live next to a church or a mosque or a club or a bar, and then every evening they are disturbing. And for 1 month, they are not disturbing you. Won't you go to the traditional leaders and even negotiate with them and tell them that if you can extend it for another 2 weeks, so it will be 6 months, 6 weeks, you quickly go. And if they have a way of doing it, they will do it. And what people don't know is that the ban is not the entire section of Accra. So those who fall within a certain portion, so from Osu to Gamashi, they have their ban now. So all their surrounding villages is covered with the ban on drumming. So if you want to do any outdoor event or anything, you can even go to La, and there is some adjoining communities, or you can go to Teshin and do it, because theirs is in August. At the moment, just this week or so, the Nungwa people also started theirs. So now you can't do anything in Nungwa. And it's good, because at least for a period of maybe a month or 2 or 3, the entire city goes quiet, and it goes in the fluctuate. It goes in the curvy form. So it goes on in Gamashin, and then it goes on in La Osu, and then it goes down again. Then it comes up in Nungwa, then it goes down again, comes out in Teshin, and then La. So it gives a better ecosystem. For me, it's the ecosystem. We have destroyed the entire ecosystem in Accra. So the only ecosystem for us is the band. Go to Mokola now. All those loud speakers that they use to blare during the day all the way into the evening, it's gone. Go to Carnation Market. If you are buying the market and you need that sound mind to just negotiate, this is the time to do it. If you go into any other parts where they do most of these noisy stuff, this is the time to just go and chill. If you go to the beach at this time of the year and you sit by the beach, you can think, you can reflect, you can meditate. Or if your house, even if you are in your house, you can still meditate better because the pollution is gone. So the band have its positive thing. And like I said, in the past, that is the time that they engage the youth to also go into agriculture. So by this time, you have tilled the land, you are planting, you are waiting for the rains to come, and then you can take off the weeds and all that. By the time the Omowo comes up, you have enough to even celebrate your Omowo festival. So there is abundance of food. So it is a transition from one point to the other. But because most of these people come from outside Accra, in their area they observe it. But when they come to Accra, they are like, oh no, we are in the city, it's cosmopolitan. Even if it's cosmopolitan, there are people who live here. So if you come and rent my house, and then I said, oh, at this particular time of the night, please, I don't need it. No, we are doing the party. Then what is it? You don't respect me because we agreed that at 10 o'clock you're not going to play the music because you're all going to work, and then we have come back. Or maybe I go to work in the morning. I close around 9, and I have to go back the next morning at 5 a.m. I need some rest. But maybe you went at night and came in the morning, so you have some time. The human being is created in the way that no matter what, when it's night, you have to sleep.
Interesting.
So a human being is created. Yes.
Let me find out this. You said it seems to me, and this is the clarity I'm getting from this interview with you, that the guys are heavily spiritual, if I could say that, and because we are all within the Ga state, as it were, we need to acknowledge this part of them and then also live peaceably with them. That is what I'm getting from this. So
exactly.
Let's get this. There is this thing that Gas keeps saying, that they have their roots all the way back to Israel. When you're taking people around Jamestown and you're doing all your tourism stuff, does this conversation ever come up that Gas are actually from Israel?
Yeah, that conversation do come up, and sometimes I give few scenario that when I was growing up, my grandfather during Omowo, we have a particular time during Omowo, and then we do what we call the marking of the two pillars. So the major house, our main house, they will use a red clay to mark the two edge of the house, and then you take me to another house in Adenpo, and then he will also do the same thing. In recent time, we don't do it. And then when, like you being a Gan, and then you are nominated as a priest, you lose wearing all your beautiful suits, and now you have to wear all white throughout your life. In the past, a wulomo don't even go out. Once you are picked, you stay within your shrine or your temple, and that is where you operate. You don't even shave. You always have to have a cap on your head because you are the spiritual priest. And I always compare this. I said, the Muslims do Ramadan, the Christians do Lent, and the traditional people also do their fast called Maadumu. Ma, when we say Ma, it means fast. It's not just Ma. In the context of food, it means millet or corn. But Ma, in the context of spirituality, it means fasting. So, what in Ma? Wonduma. It means that we are fasting and we are also planting. So we are very spiritual. And then as a priest, you don't even work without a staff. So you can connect all those things to it. And then the Homo is not, the meal is not just what we see as popoi. We call it popoi. When we say po in Ghana, it means 12. So when we say popoi, we're eating the 12-12 meal. To is 12. So once you understand the 12, or you know where the 12 comes from, you understand what when the Ghana people say we are related to, or we have a trace to Israel. And then the Omowo is a feast. So it's a Passover. So when they're going to prepare the meal, normally they start it at dawn to the next day. Then we have what we call the Panshimo, Pan. When we say Pan, it means testament. You have the Old Testament, you have the New Testament. So as you are the host of the show, if you've done very good throughout the year, as people from La and Teshin or Pong or Pram Pram, we're going to test the testimony of you for the whole year that you have hosted this show, you have done this, you have done that, you have done that. And that is what we put into the song and we sing up for you. And if you have also done a very bad thing throughout your presentation at the studio, we also bring it. So we write your testament through music.
Wow.
So the spirituality is there. It's just that we don't understand. So let's even go into the prayer session where we say, when we start the praying, we say, Ata na nyumo. We the Ghanaians, we believe that God is not just a man, but God is in this duality. It's a man and a woman. So when we are praying, we say Ata and Na. Ata is man, Na is woman. So we call the supreme being, which is the male and female God. And we ask him to bless the land. We also ask him that whatever we do may it be a blessing. So that's why even when we are naming our children, we say that when you are born as a child, you came with black hair, but you go back with gray hair. It's a prayer and a symbolism of long life. And people don't understand. If you read your Bible, it talks about somebody pouring oil. And they were praying, but they pour oil on a rock. And he saw angels going up and coming down. So if I'm also praying and I also use water and pour it on the rock, is it fetish? Is it because it's written in the book, so it is holy? But because mine is not written in the book called the Holy Book, so it's fetish. You pour oil, I pour water, and we all call on the same God. The Catholic will call the prayers of the saints, Saint Joseph, Saint Mary, Saint what. If I'm praying, my grandfather, who was Mr. A.C. Vanderpoel, a very respectable and astute gentleman, and I pray and say, Pafio Vanderpoel, Mincha Osisa, Eba Jordan, I'm calling on you to bless this drink before I offer it unto the Supreme Being. If somebody calls Saint Joseph, is holy. If I call Saint Pafio, he said is pagan or is fetish. So the names that we name them during our prayers are our saints. Those people who have lived an astute life. That is why when you are naming a Ghana child, you don't just put the baby in anybody's hand. Today people go to church. They don't know even the pastor has been a criminal before. And they give their son to the pastor to pray. And then tomorrow, when your child starts misbehaving, say, I don't know where it's coming from. Because you believe in spirituality, you believe in transference of spirit. So that is why when we are naming the child, we give it to people in the family who are prominent. And you don't just become a prominent or an ancestor. You have to live at a certain age. You have to be prominent. You have to do so many good things in your life before you even mention your name.
Me, Mama, from Jamestown Boutique. It's been a serious history lesson today. So, when is this ban going to be lifted? And then what proceeds that after the lifting of the ban?
So the ban will be lifted in Gamashi. The 6th or so will be this week, and then the following week is Gamashi, and the 6th. So 6th June, when you come to Gamashi, it's very interesting. The role of the Womanche and the Wulomo are intertwined. So the sticks for the lifting of the brand is with the Gamanche. The drums is with the Gose Manche. There's a coordination between the leaders. There's what we call let me use the word coordination. So it's not just one person who does it. It's a whole entire community that. And then that is where you even see some of the old games that we used to play. Now, nobody is playing because we've all bought video games for our children and they are now becoming obese. But those days, you do ampe, you do tumantu, you do pilolo, you do chaskele, you do emoe, and the rest. And when it's band on drum, you don't do most of those things because you play around, you shout and everything. So when the band is lifted, we do all these games. Today, our children are all with their gadgets, and your child becomes apprehensive when he's 6 years, and then you don't understand. Oh, it's the God of us, where they are coming from. He's called Busumpin, so maybe the spirits are worrying. No, because you bought a video game for your child. Let your child go out there and play ampe, do that lokoto. The worms from the ground will make your child have a very solid immune system to fight any disease that comes in their way. So our ancestors know all this. Let me give you a typical example. When we say forest in Ga, do you know what it means? We say won go. When we say won, it means spirit, the spirit forest or the forest of the spirit. And that is how come our ancestors were able to preserve the forest, because they put all their spirits in that area and preserve it. Today we take the spirit into a church and we cut the forest. And then we are all complaining that the sun is coming up. It's too hot, it's too high. You can't even walk from Jamestown to Osu because we cut all the trees.
Nimama, you have to repeat that. We take the spirit into the church and cut the forest.
For our ancestors, they take the spirit into the forest to preserve it, to preserve the environment. So the energies of the people are kept in a very cooler place, which is the forest. The church came in, they took the energy from the well protected area, the green environment, and just built a box and put it in there. Say, oh, when you come here, the spirit of the God is here. And then they started cutting down the trees. Now we've gone beyond that. Now we are even using galamsey and other things to cut down the tree. There's a place where the Methodist Church is, the Western Methodist Church. It used to be a forest just about 120 years ago. We call that place Koliwonko. Just about 120 years ago, it's just about a forest just where the church is. The Katamanton area all used to be forest. Growing up, I used to play football at what you call today the Sodom and Gomorrah. We have more than 20 football fields at what you now call Sodom and Gomorrah. We call that place Stanford Park or Mo Park, because when you go there, you could feel the salty nature of the soil. So when you are playing over there, or you told your parents that, oh, I'm going to school, and you went and played, when you come, the salt is all over you. They will know where you went to, and they can even teach you a lesson by not going back there again. You can pick crabs from that area. And we've destroyed the environment so that because we don't see the spirituality of our people. We don't see the spirituality of ourselves. And we don't see the spirituality of the environment in which we are. So we just doing things anyhow. And they say, oh, Ras or Gang, they are fetish. And rather, the people who say they are proper spiritual people are the ones who are even destroying the environment.
Wow.
Go to some of the churches. They don't even have one tree. Go to any shrine. They have more than one tree in the shrine. Just go around all the churches that you know and count the number of trees in the church compound. Go to all the shrines and count the number of trees in the shrine.
Nimama.
Because they understand the environment better.
You've dropped some very top lines this morning and today on Arts, Culture and Tourism Thursday. So before I would let you go, I'll ask for your final words before that. But let me also find out from you, how do you intend to, someone said, I asked you, actually the person came to the studio, that are the things you're saying, these interesting things, he's asking if you learn them orally or they are in a book somewhere, because he's thinking about how this can be preserved for others to get to know.
Well, there are books. There's a book called Dancing with the Gods. It's a Ghana book called Dancing with the Gods. Then I have another book here called Sharing the Stories of Jamestown. And the first time I read this book, I cried. I was like, what? Dancing with the God. I have so many books. We have Omanyaba. Aside from that, I grew up with my grandfather and my grandmom. So some of the things they said, I'm seeing them today in books. And several books are there for you to read. Dancing with the God is a very good book to read. We have the Social Organization of the Ghana People. We have some other books as well. But when I read this book called Sharing the Stories from Jamestown, it was written, we helped the gentleman to do the research. You know the Barclays Bank, and then the old Standard Chartered Bank.
Yeah.
On the high street. The Standard Chartered is gone now.
Yeah, it's been broken down.
Yes, the architect of that building built it in a way that you don't even use an air condition.
Wow.
That the wind blows from the sea, it goes to the building. So if you go to Ridge, and maybe I'll just say this, if you go to Ridge, the old buildings, they were built also without, for you not to use air conditioning, that you can just be in your space. And you can see that in Ridge, the entire compound is 1 acre. The building is small, sitting in the middle, and there are trees surrounded it. They know that it was an ecosystem already, so we don't going to cut down the trees. Let's use the trees, and then let's build. They picked that same prototype to Choco, and then they built Choco as well. Today, go to Ridge again. Those who are buying the land and they are building all these big structures, they cut down the trees and they put out the structure, and then they go and buy plants and put them into flower pots and design them. If you read this book called The Sharing the Stories of Jamestown, you cry. You ask yourself, where have we gone wrong? That don't we have botanists in the system? Don't we have agronomists in the system? Don't we have even people who can even just think? And I said, well, maybe that is why the white man will always tell us that we are fools, because we don't even read. I read this book and I was just shivering. Some of the pictures you see in this book, the designs, you'll be marveled. Like, what happened? Just in less than 70 years or 80 years, we've just destroyed the entire ecosystem in Accra.
What's the title of the book again?
Sharing the Stories of Jamestown.
Sharing the Stories of Jamestown. Final thing, Jamestown Boutique, do you have something coming up anytime this week or this weekend? What is up in Jamestown Boutique?
Because it's ban on clubbing, we've also go down. But once the ban is lifted, we'll go back with our activities and then we'll start. We used to do live music. It was expensive, but we'll come back to it again, and then maybe the DJ's parties on Friday night, Saturday night, we'll also come back with it again.
Thank you very much, Nimama from Jamestown Boutique, for joining us on Z 101.9 FM. It's been an absolute pleasure, my brother, having you on the show this morning.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the day, my brother. Yeah, all too soon. It's time for me to check out of this place. It's been a Thursday edition. It's been quite exciting. It's been a whole history lesson. But like we say, ZFM, we're not doing just radio. We're giving you a learning experience every morning from 5:55 all through to 9:55. Coming up, top of the hour, there'll be the news. After news, NYA the brand takes over with the brighter side. This is still Zed in the Morning, about to check out, but we cannot do that before telling you that, as always, pray like it only depends on God, but work like it only depends on you. Jerry Hum